Chapter 130. Everyone was injured and Han Fei didn't want to continue treasure hunting. After all, he had gained a lot in the Scorpion Cave. Of course, the price was not small. The people on the boat were either injured or betrayed. At this moment, they had no combat power. A day later, the toxins in their bodies had completely disappeared and their injuries had been greatly relieved. At this moment, they were sitting in a circle on the deck. He saw that a shelf had been set up on the deck, and there was also a pot. The few of them were eating until their mouths were full of oil. Han Fei frowned. He Xiaoyu, tell Little Red to turn down the fire. The water is going to be boiled dry. He Xiaoyu grabbed Little Red who was acting as a flame at the bottom of the pot and stuffed a large piece of mushroom into her mouth. Han Fei, why do you still have pots and low-level spiritual fruits on your boat? Han Fei said matter-of-factly, I always have to eat when I go to sea. Xia Wushuang clicked his tongue. Han Fei, your cooking is so good. By the way, can you give me some of these low-level spiritual fruits? I can cook them myself if I have nothing to do. Then why don't you go to the hot pot restaurant of the fish dragons to learn? Xia Wushuang smiled awkwardly. Forget it. Although the hot pot is delicious, I don't think I have the time to cook for myself. Xiang Nan had recovered a lot and could barely move his chopsticks now. I heard that a meal in the Fish Dragon's hot pot restaurant costs dozens of mid-quality pearls. Can't you make it cheaper? Han Fei replied, I've already sold them at the cost price. Otherwise, do you think these low-level spiritual fruits will be so cheap? Wang Baiyu's face was still pale at the moment, but the red oil stain on his mouth betrayed him. Ordinary people can't afford it in our village, but it's different in the town. Dozens of mid-quality pearls, most people can afford it. Han Fei nodded. Okay, I'll open a restaurant in the town. Hey, do you still want mushrooms? He Xiaoyu nodded. Yes. Jia Tong added, add more. Chen Qing asked, do you still have yellow balls? Han Fei replied, that's called potatoes. It's easy to remember. Then Han Fei ran to the cabin and fished them out. In fact, he had fished them out of Forge the Universe. At this moment, half of the 60 square meters of land in Forge the Universe was planted by him. On the other side, the few people, including those who had already woken up, all swallowed their saliva. It was really uncomfortable to watch others eat, and the key was that the taste was so tempting. As for Hu Kun, he had long since woken up, but his eyes were lifeless, as if he was indifferent to anything. It was as if he had become an idiot. At this moment, fishing boats flew over from the sky one after another. The first to arrive were Fang Qing and the others from the Heavenly Heart village, followed by the Heavenly Fire, Heavenly Sun, and Heavenly Wood villages. Everyone was stunned when they saw them. Didn't they go treasure hunting? Had he given up on himself? Why is he cooking on the sea? Han Fei saw a fishing boat from the Heavenly Wood village approaching, and a chubby girl craned her head. Hey! People of the Heavenly Water village, didn't you go treasure hunting? He Xiaoyu pouted. We've been back for a long time. Miao Mumu, you're drooling. Do you want some? Miao Mumu's eyes lit up and she looked at Han Fei. May I? Not bad. But you can come alone. Otherwise, we won't have enough to eat. As soon as Han Fei said so, Miao Mumu jumped over, sniffed with her little nose, and her eyes lit up. Wow, it smells so good. Then I'll eat it. Miao Mumu was purely here to freeload, so she didn't ask what happened to Hu Kun and the others. After a while, Xia Wushuang shouted to a girl who had just landed on the water, Yun Qian, do you want some hot pot? Yun Qian was the captain of the juvenile team of the Heavenly Rain village. Hearing Xia Wushuang's call, she came over helplessly. Are you really here for treasure hunting? Miao Mumu, why are you here too? Miao Mumu had never eaten such delicious food. She had no time to respond to Yun Qian at this moment and just hummed in agreement. Everyone made way for Yun Qian. This girl looked a little cold, but when she took the first bite of the mushroom slice, her expression changed countless times. Xia Wushuang asked, "How is it? Is it delicious?" Yun Qian asked, What is this? It can be called a delicious food." Xia Wushuang nodded. "Come to our heavenly water village to play. I'll take you there." Han Fei nudged He Xiaoyu. "Are they familiar with each other?" He Xiaoyu replied, "Not really. I have a good relationship with Miao Mumu, and Xia Wushuang and Yun Qian get along well. Otherwise, they will always bully us in the town." He Xiaoyu pointed to the Heavenly Sun Village and the Heavenly Moon Village. At this moment, the captains of these villages were all speechless. "Aren't you guys going too far? Are you serious about this competition?" On the Heavenly Heart Village's side, Fang Qing secretly swallowed and asked a girl next to her, "Do you think I should join in the fun? It looks delicious. But we don't know He Xiaoyu well." Fang Qing nodded. "Well, forget it. You can contact He Xiaoyu in the town in the future. He seems to have a special relationship with that fatty." On the Heavenly Sun Village's side, Gu Longyu narrowed his eyes. There seems to be an internal fight in the Heavenly Water Village. A guy was nailed to the boat. A group of people ate, and the rest stood aside and didn't dare to move. Ha! Heavenly Moon Village. Shentong said, "Avoid that fatty in the third round. There is an internal fight, but he still has the mood to eat and doesn't look nervous at all. He should be a big shot." After a while, the mayor led the 8 village leaders to appear in the sky. The mayor's face didn't seem to be very good. Han Fei and the others had already come back. They had already eaten this hot pot 3 times, and he almost drooled. Just now, he threatened the village leader of the Heavenly Water Village to tell him the ingredient recipe. But now, old Zhao of the Heavenly Water Village was obviously not very good. There was a traitor in his village, which was simply a shame. The mayor shouted, "Guys from the Heavenly Water Village, stop eating. The second round is over. Take out your stuff." Han Fei put the pot into the cabin and He Xiaoyu whispered, "Let's eat later." Miao Mumu asked, "Can I come back later?" He Xiaoyu nodded. Yes. After a while, everyone was in position. All the team leaders gathered together. The items of the adult team of the Heavenly Heart Village were placed on the bow, and the captain shouted, "Heavenly Heart Village, obtains 6 rare creatures, 12 ghost beads, 1 sea iron tree, 1 iron tree spiritual fruit, and 1 stone spirit crab, the guardian demonic beast of the iron tree." Many people's expressions changed. Obtaining the sea iron tree wasn't a big deal, but obtaining the iron tree spirit fruit would definitely require a battle with the guardian demonic beast. That was no simple matter. But thinking about it, it wasn't a big problem. The Heavenly Heart Village was powerful. Then Fang Qing from the juvenile group of the Heavenly Heart Village shouted, "The juvenile group of the Heavenly Heart Village has obtained 3 rare spiritual fish, 1 water spiritual wood and 1 red sea cucumber." Red sea cucumber. The faces of many people in the other villages darkened. This thing was a treasure of any fishery. After taking it, not only could the body be strengthened in all aspects, but it also contained powerful spiritual energy, which could increase the success rate of a fishing master breaking through to a great fishing master by at least 10%. In the sky, the village leader of the Heavenly Water Village smiled and said, "Haha, not bad." The other village chiefs snorted. "What are you showing off for? Isn't it just because your Heavenly Heart Village occupies a good position? Perhaps this red sea cucumber was placed here by you in advance." Below, Wang Baiyu said in a low voice, "They are indeed very strong. If it were in the previous years, they would have won the first place." Xia Wushuang chuckled. "Only 1 spirit fruit." The people of the Heavenly Water Village were extremely relaxed, but the other villages were different. The Heavenly Fire, Heavenly Moon, and Heavenly Sun villages all turned pale. And the Heavenly Wood, Heavenly Rain, and Heavenly Wind villages didn't care. Anyway, they knew they couldn't compete with them. Then, the Heavenly Sun village showed. Adult group, 7 rare spiritual fish, 1 black iron stone, 1 bamboo stick, 1 bamboo fruit, 1 guardian creature mutated big-headed prawn. Juvenile group, 4 rare creatures, 1 armored turtle cub, 1 sapphire. Heavenly moon village, heavenly fire village, heavenly wind village, heavenly rain village, heavenly wood village, until the heavenly water village. Qin Hai shouted with a black face, the heavenly heart village has obtained 5 rare creatures, 6 ghost beads, 3 sapphire, 1 dark iron stone. Qin Hai was speechless. This time, they and the heavenly moon village found the same treasure land, but they lost 2 fishing masters in the first contact. In order to preserve their strength, Qin Hai could only take them away. Who knew that after leaving, they couldn't find a second treasure land? All of them were occupied by other villages. In desperation, he could only take them to the seabed mine, trying to dig out precious gems, but obviously, they didn't find anything good. Ha ha ha. Someone joked, Qin Hai, did you go to mine? Heavenly Moon Village, oh. You wanted to compete with us for the treasure land but were defeated. Now you have nowhere to go, right? Even the juvenile group was ridiculing them. Gu Longyu asked, Fatty, did you go to mine? What did you find? Read 2. Chapter 131. Wei Hua from the Heavenly Fire Village interjected, Gu Longyu, don't say that. They haven't left. They're eating. Shen Tong from the Heavenly Moon Village interjected, Humph. The Heavenly Water Village doesn't even need to exist anymore. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Han Fei's face. Han Fei scratched his belly, muttered a few words, and then took out a cluster of small trees, which were densely covered with thumb-sized fruits. In an instant, the whole place became quiet, and only the sound of the sea breeze could be heard. The village leader, who had been desperate, suddenly had a gleam in his eyes. Spiritual fruit. Han Fei counted carefully, 1, 2, 3. 100. 101. 108, Han Fei waved his paw. I didn't go to mine. I went to dig the ground. Well, I only dug 108 exotic poisonous fruits in total. Hey, why are you all looking at me? Why aren't you guys chatting anymore? Everyone's throat was stuck as if they had eaten a little white shrimp. Suddenly, Wei Hua from the Heavenly Fire Village said, What exotic poisonous fruit? I've never heard of it. This fruit doesn't even have a fragrance. Is it an ordinary fruit? How can it be regarded as a spiritual fruit? He Xiaoyu immediately jumped out. You are an ordinary fruit. This is an exotic poisonous fruit. After taking it, you will be immune to any mortal-level poison. Wow, Qin Hai was stunned. What the hell? How could someone dig up more than 100 fruits at a time? If it could really be immune to poison, wouldn't it be more valuable than ordinary spiritual fruits? Impossible. How can anyone get so many spiritual fruits at once? Every spirit fruit had a guardian spirit. With so many spirit fruits, just how powerful would the guardian spirit be? You cheated. In the Heavenly Sun Village, Gu Longyu's face was dark. He didn't believe that Han Fei could get so many spiritual fruits. There must be something wrong. Before Han Fei spoke, He Xiaoyu pointed to Gu Longyu and said, You're slandering us. We not only got spiritual fruits, but we also caught a mutant purple-tailed scorpion. What did you say? What did you say? The village leader had no time to think and landed directly. Where is it? Let me see. With a flash of spiritual energy in Xiang Nan's hand, a palm-sized purple scorpion appeared in front of everyone. The faces of the youth squad leaders of the various villages changed. Variant creatures? Wasn't that much stronger than rare creatures? The Heavenly Heart Village's village chief's expression changed drastically. You went to the Scorpion Cave. Many people's hearts trembled. Dangerous Scorpion Cave. Only a dozen people from the Heavenly Water Village went to the Scorpion Cave. Can't I go? It's just a bunch of bugs. What's there to be afraid of? A group of bugs? Everyone was speechless. You really know how to talk. Who here dared to say that there was only a group of insects in the scorpion cave? Han Fei turned around and scolded He Xiaoyu. Don't expose good things, just like don't expose your wealth. He Xiaoyu said, Xiang Nan is not afraid, right? Xiang Nan. Xiang Nan was speechless. I'm not scared. Do you think I'm an ironhead fish? I'm so panicked that I don't dare to come to the level 1 fishery anymore. Since Han Fei took out the exotic poisonous fruit, there was no need to compete anymore. How could they compete? More than 100 spiritual fruits. Even the other 7 villages combined couldn't compare. Han Fei looked at Gu Longyu with a smile. Oh, I'm going to try mining next time. What if I dig up something amazing? Gu Longyu snorted coldly. Ha, look at your team members. Some are injured, some are disabled, and some are traitors. So what if you win the second game? Han Fei continued to scratch his belly and smacked his lips. I alone am enough to beat you, bastard. Gu Longyu's face turned purple with anger, and the others were stunned. This fatty is so arrogant. Especially the girls. Fang Qing of the Heavenly Heart Village narrowed her eyes. Miao Mumu of the Heavenly Wood Village and Yun Qian of the Heavenly Rain Village all looked at Han Fei strangely, thinking that this guy should be the first person in their weak villages to be so arrogant in recent years. After the fishing and treasure hunting competitions, the third round was the actual combat. After all, it was impossible to survive on this ocean without strength. The Heavenly Heart Village was the closest to the level 1 fishery. The other villages surrounded the level 1 fishery, but they were also far away from it. The competition was held in the Heavenly Heart Village. When hundreds of fishing boats arrived at the Heavenly Heart Village at the same time, they found that there was already a sea of people here. Han Fei took a slight breath. No wonder it ranked first. The floating island of the Heavenly Heart Village was scattered with high mountains, flowing water, and waterfalls, and its area was much larger than that of the Heavenly Water Village. Looking at Han Fei's surprised expression, He Xiaoyu poked him. It's just a little better than our village. When you go to the town, you will find that the town is dozens of times larger than here. Puff, how much larger? Han Fei was speechless. An island floating in the sky. He thought the Heavenly Water Village was very big. When he saw the Heavenly Heart Village, he felt it was beautiful and big, but He Xiaoyu said the town was dozens of times larger. Xia Wushuang smiled. It's nothing to be surprised about. Do you see that waterfall? It is said that every outsider who comes to the Heavenly Heart Village will challenge that waterfall. I guess we have to go too. Han Fei asked, what's so good about the waterfall? Wang Baiyu added, jump down. What? The Heavenly Heart Village advocates bravery. They take jumping down the waterfall as a challenge. We are all injured now. They won't let go of this opportunity. Han Fei glanced at them. Can't you escape with your injuries? Just don't go. Wang Baiyu added, of course we don't go, but we will be laughed at, so what do you think? Sure enough, as soon as the fishing boats stopped, Fang Qing walked past the villages one by one. When she saw Han Fei, Fang Qing smiled and said, Han Fei, guests of the Heavenly Heart Village, our Heavenly Heart Village specially invites you to participate in the hero's adventure. I wonder if you can do us the honor. Han Fei shook his head. No. Fang Qing was stunned. Why did you refuse so directly? Don't you care about the face of the village? He Xiaoyu tugged at Han Fei. Go. In fact, it will be fine. Han Fei replied, no. Han Fei, no one who comes to our Heavenly Heart Village will refuse the hero's adventure, which can prove your bravery and fearlessness. Little girl, you are making enemies, do you know that? Fang Qing looked embarrassed. She finally knew why Gu Longyu and the others didn't like Han Fei. This person was so arrogant. What did he mean by, I am making enemies? And he said it so confidently. However, Fang Qing couldn't say anything. After all, it was his own business whether to challenge others or not. Coward. Wei Hua snorted coldly when he passed by Han Fei. Coward. Gu Longyu also sneered when he passed by Han Fei. When everyone had left, Xia Wushuang said, "It's just jumping over a waterfall." Han Fei, go. Han Fei's face was black. Do you want to see a fat man free fall and then smash into the water and make a huge splash several people high? When we get to the arena, we'll beat them until they call us daddy. Everyone. When Han Fei left, the people booed. Han Fei suddenly walked from the front of the team to the open space, made a very arrogant gesture to the countless people, stretched out 2 thumbs, and then pointed down. Shit, kill him. Fatty, you are too arrogant. Damn it, I'll beat you into a thin man during the battle. What the hell? Is the Heavenly Water Village so arrogant because of Tanggu? He Xiaoyu said, Han Fei, you will be beaten to death. Xiang Nan added, I really can't imagine you going to the town. Wang Baiyu thought for a moment. I'm afraid that you will set up a sign at the gate of the 3 academies saying that you are invincible in your level. Then we won't be able to help you. Han Fei sneered. What do you know? This is the exclusive treatment of the protagonist. Han Fei snorted and walked to the field. After all, killing was allowed in this game, unless one admitted defeat in advance. Behind the statue of Sea God, the fishing masters of the 8 villages, except for the juvenile team, were all sitting in the auditorium. At this moment, Qin Hai and the others were talking to a group of fishing masters. Han Fei asked, what are they doing? Wang Baiyu replied, they're picking people. Each village sends 5 people to fight by drawing lots. The village that loses first will be the last. Those who lose at the same time will have the same ranking as last year. Han Fei glanced at Wang Baiyu, thinking to himself that this boy toy really knew a lot. However, he was not very optimistic about this battle. There seemed to be many peak-level fishing masters in the other villages. Read 2. Chapter 132. Han Fei sat in his square formation. Chen Jia, and Zhang Peng shifted to Han Fei's side. They asked curiously, why didn't you go to Brave or Dare? Han Fei curled his lips. Children's play. We don't play. The 2 of them blushed with shame. You're speaking as if you're not good kids. Han Fei wondered, Sister Jia, why is there only 1 peak-level fishing master in our village? Han Fei saw clearly that among the 5 people who came out, only Qin Hai was a peak-level fishing master. Both Xiao Dabai and Chao Fei were advanced fishing masters. Although he didn't know the other 2, they were also advanced fishing masters. Not far away, Zhang Peng snorted. Because every year, peak-level fishing masters have been killed. Han Fei and the others were shocked. The peak-level fishing masters were all killed. Zhang Peng said, this is a death match. Unless you admit defeat early, the other party will definitely kill you. He Xiaoyu said stupidly, aren't they all peak-level fishing masters? How did he get killed? Are you stupid? There's also a big gap in strength between peak-level fishing masters. Han Fei thought to himself, isn't this also a trial? It's a good way to cultivate more and more excellent people through this method, but it's a bit cruel. In just a few moments, the 40 people had been separated. The referee announced, the results of the draw are, Zhou Ming from the Heavenly Heart Village versus Xiao Ren from the Heavenly Fire Village. Li Sen from the Heavenly Wood Village versus Wang Kai from the Heavenly Moon Village. Zhao Dabai from the Heavenly Water Village versus Lu Feng from the Heavenly Wind Village. Soon, the order of the battle was finished. In the cheers of countless people in the Heavenly Heart Village, the battle began. The first battle was between Zhou Ming from the Heavenly Heart Village and Xiao Ren from the Heavenly Fire Village. The 2 of them seemed to be old acquaintances. They didn't even greet each other and immediately started fighting. Han Fei was stunned, only to see Zhou take out a bow and shoot 7 times in a row. The 7 arrows seemed to have grown eyes and were tracking Xiao Ren from the Heavenly Fire Village. Han Fei's eyelids twitched. Fuck, it can track me. Han Fei remembered that ever since he saw someone in the town using a bow half a year ago, he had been looking forward to it. Standing in a stable position, dealing damage, and killing the enemy with brute force, it would be a dominator in the world of weapons. Unfortunately, due to Jiang Qin's training, Han Fei had not been able to realize his wish. Now he wanted to use the bow again. Chen Jia replied, "It's a bow skill. Our village doesn't have such a powerful bow skill." Zhao Ren was completely defenseless. He was too busy dodging the arrows and couldn't even get close. Arrows were coming from all directions. Pfft! Zhao Ren was pierced by an arrow on the spot. He immediately shouted, "I surrender." However, the arrows in the air did not stop. When he shouted these two words, he was pierced again and was directly nailed to the ground. Zhang Peng said, "He didn't die, but he won't be able to recover within half a year." Zhou Min didn't kill him, otherwise he would have died just now. Everyone in the juvenile group looked serious. This was too powerful. Even Xia Wushuang, who was the most talented among them, turned pale. "We can't stop this arrow." He Xiaoyu frowned. "I don't like fighting. People will die." As it turned out, people were indeed going to die. The second match was between Li Sen from Heavenly Wood Village and Wang Kai from Heavenly Moon Village. Both of them were advanced fishing masters, but Wang Kai's attack was too strong and his rod was too fast and powerful. In only 7 moves, he hit Li Sen's head with his rod and the latter died on the spot. Chen Jia looked solemn. The arena is so horrible. There is no victory or defeat, only life and death. He Xiaoyu was a little scared. "I want to go home. I want to eat hot pot. If the enemy is too strong, we'll just surrender." Zhang Peng and Chen Jia nodded at the same time. Soon, Zhao Dabai and Lu Feng from the Heavenly Wind Village were fighting. Fortunately, both of them focused on strength. After fighting for more than 10 minutes, Zhao Dabai won by a narrow margin. 1 round. 2 rounds. Among the 20 contestants, 3 people were killed, and this was under the premise that someone surrendered in advance. An advanced fishing master from the Heavenly Water Village was seriously injured. The competition for the top 20 was even more tragic. 4 people were killed and 1 person from the Heavenly Water Village admitted defeat at the beginning. The competition went on until the afternoon. 5 out of the 10 contestants. At this moment, Chao Fei was fighting against Shi Feiyu from the Heavenly Moon Village, who was a newcomer, less than 20 years old, and used a spear. At the first contact, Chao Fei launched 3 consecutive explosions, which was extremely fierce and directly knocked Shi Feiyu back dozens of meters. At this moment, Chao Fei leaped forward, roared, and bombarded with great force. However, at this moment, Han Fei suddenly roared, "Surrender." Chao Fei was taken aback. He recognized Han Fei's voice, but he didn't understand why he would surrender when he had the upper hand. But the next moment, Shi Feiyu took 3 steps back, shook the spear in his hand, and spiritual energy gathered at the tip of the spear. In an instant, the spear shot out like a dragon. Puff! The audience burst into an uproar, but the people from the Heavenly Water Village were gloomy. Chao Fei was pierced through the chest and hung on the tip of the spear. The village leader shouted, "Surrender." Shi Feiyu waved his spear casually and Chao Fei fell to the ground with blood flowing out of his mouth. Chen Jia muttered, "Captain." Zhang Peng shouted, "Damn it." Shi Feiyu smiled contemptuously. "Only fools will compete with brute force." Zhao Dabai patted his head. "Fuck, don't let me see you in the arena, or I'll kill you." Dozens of minutes later, on the Heavenly Water Village's side, the village leader came back with a black face. His organs are failing. He can't be saved. Han Fei couldn't help clenching his fists. He had treated Chao Fei to hot pot more than once. This man looked fierce but was actually very kind to others. Just at this moment, Shi Feiyu glanced at Han Fei and seemed to be a little surprised by Han Fei's surrender. Han Fei glared back. If he could, he really wanted to go to the arena and kill him. Xia Wushuang was furious. That guy is laughing at us. Damn it, I must beat him to death. Wang Baiyu said coldly, then cultivate hard, try to become a peak-level fishing master, and kill him. Just when everyone was angry, the referee shouted, Zhao Debai from the Heavenly Water Village versus Yang Pei from the Heavenly Moon Village. Xiang Nan was anxious. Damn, why is it the Heavenly Moon Village again? Wang Baiyu frowned. 5 out of 10 have been eliminated. Every one of them is strong. They should surrender this round. The village leader shouted, Zhao Debai, surrender. Zhao Debai patted his head and roared, damn it. Let's fight. Qiao Fei and Zhao Debai were good friends, very good friends. When Qiao Fei was stabbed to death by a member of the Heavenly Moon Village, Zhao Debai's eyes turned red. How could he not fight against the Heavenly Moon Village? Zhao Debai jumped onto the arena. Bastard from the Heavenly Moon Village, I'm going to avenge Qiao Fei today. Yang Pei used a knife, which was propped on the ground. You're just going to die. If you surrender now, you can save your life. Cut the crap. Let's fight. Zhao Debai fought like crazy, throwing spiritual energy everywhere. After dozens of rounds, blood dripped from the corner of Yang Pei's mouth, while Zhao Debai had dozens of wounds on his body. The village leader said angrily, Zhao, surrender. Zhao Debai's eyes were bloodshot. Damn it. Kill. Clang, clang, clang. After a while, Zhao Debai was already covered with blood and fell to the ground. Seeing this, everyone from the Heavenly Water Village stood up. Yang Pei was also covered with blood, which was dripping to the ground at this moment. However, he walked up to Zhao Debai with a smile. You don't want to surrender? Then go to hell. Surrender. Everyone present. Someone suddenly said angrily, damn it, weren't you still fighting just now? Why did you surrender so quickly? Someone was speechless. I thought you were a fucking man. Someone cursed, why didn't you surrender earlier? Zhao Debai smiled bitterly. I have to stay alive to kill the bastards from the Heavenly Moon Village. It's not worth it to die here. Yang Pei took a deep look at Zhao Debai. Next time we meet, you will definitely die. Zhao Debai grinned bitterly. You really want to die? Aren't you also seriously injured? At this moment, only Qin Hai and one person from the Heavenly Wind Village were left from the 4 weaker villages of Heavenly Wood, Heavenly Rain, Heavenly Wind and Heavenly Water. However, when they entered the arena, the one from the Heavenly Wind Village directly surrendered. But Qin Hai didn't. His opponent was from the Heavenly Sun Village, an old enemy. How could he lose without fighting? 20 minutes later, Qin Hai was carried off the arena. Like Zhao Debai, he surrendered at the last moment and was seriously injured. The juvenile group competition was on the 2nd day, and the Heavenly Water Village stopped at the 5th place. As for Qin Hai and Zhao Debai, they needed to be treated immediately and then sent back to the Heavenly Water Village to recuperate. In the end, Qin Hai held his breath and called Han Fei over. Qin Hai was still vomiting blood, but he still gritted his teeth and said, I know you are very strong. Qiao Fei said that you are much stronger than him. I believe him. Cough, cough. Tomorrow, show us the power of the Heavenly Water Village. Han Fei nodded very seriously. Okay. I'll kill them all tomorrow. Unfortunately, you can't see it. Qin Hai smiled bitterly. I really want to see it, read too. Chapter 133. The next day. Han Fei said to the crowd in silence, I'm going to call the roll now. Xia Wushuang, He Xiaoyu, Chen Zhou, Luo Chu, the 4 of you, follow me. Chen Zhou and Luo Chu were the 2 who betrayed them. Han Fei said he would give them a chance, so he gave them a chance. As for the other 3 who had been knocked down by Xia Wushuang, they were not so lucky. After returning, they would definitely be severely punished or even disabled. Xiang Nan hurriedly grabbed Han Fei. Hey, hey! Han Fei, why didn't you count me in? I'm almost recovered. I can still fight. Han Fei rolled his eyes at him. Bullshit. You have such a big wound on your stomach. If they use their strength, their intestines will be punched out. Wang Baiyu hesitated. Actually, you are the most seriously injured. I bet you will be knocked down before you can even take out your weapon. Han Fei looked at Qin Qing and Jia Tong. One was limping and the other was still hanging. How could they still fight? Xia Wushuang smiled. Hey! Just you wait, watch me show off my might. He Xiaoyu pouted. I want to find a contractual spiritual beast that can help me fight. Han Fei shook his head slightly. You should become an advanced fishing master first. In the future, you will know that the rare spiritual fish in the level 1 fishery are not very useful. He Xiaoyu scoffed. Humph. I'm also very strong. Han Fei let He Xiaoyu fight because he knew that He Xiaoyu had also practiced the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. Han Fei knew that if they really fought, this girl would definitely be fierce. The others were indignant and could only sit in the auditorium. Xiang Nan grabbed Wang Baiyu and said, Wang Baiyu, I'm not bragging, but if I'm fine, I can at least beat 2 of them. Wang Baiyu nodded absent-mindedly. Okay. Xiang Nan hurriedly said, don't be so cold. Jia Tong, do you think I can beat them? Jia Tong was not in the mood to talk to him. Maybe. Xiang Nan was speechless. What do you mean maybe? Qin Qing, what do you think? Qin Qing said disdainfully, stop bragging. I vaguely remember when you fought with He Xiaoyu in the town, you even beat her to her knees. Xiang Nan curled his lips and said, what do you guys know? Even if you guys go up against her, you'd still kneel. She's just like a girl when she's not fighting, but when she's fighting, she's not like a girl at all. Han Fei led them to the preparation area. He glanced at Qin Zhou and Luo Chu and said, your fate is entirely in your hands. My request is not high. Kill 1 person, and if you can't, at least cripple them. The 2 looked at each other and nodded heavily. In fact, they were a little glad. After witnessing the prosperity of the town, no one wanted to return to the village. In this battle, they had to risk their lives. Soon, the audience seats were filled with people, and the competition began. The referee quickly drew out the name list. Wei Huo from the Heavenly Fire Village vs Xia Wushuang from the Heavenly Water Village. Holy shit, many people were dumbfounded. It was as if a match had just begun and someone was already using a big move. Everyone knew that Xia Wushuang's strength was definitely not bad, and Wei Huo was the team leader of the Heavenly Fire Village. Between the 2 of them, there was a 50-50 chance that they would win. Xia Wushuang was as calm as an elegant young master and said calmly, it's just Wei Huo. I'll defeat him within 100 moves. Han Fei asked suspiciously, are you sure? The referee continued to read. Shen Tong from the Heavenly Moon Village vs Lu Yang from the Heavenly Wind Village. The audience cheered again and many people were excited again. The referee was really good at this. Captain versus captain, no one could compete with him. The referee also looked at his own hand and murmured, is it gilded? Then Wang Xiaoyu from the Heavenly Rain Village vs Lin Yi from the Heavenly Sun Village. Han Fei from the Heavenly Water Village vs Qiu Shu from the Heavenly Heart Village. Han Fei didn't know him, so he didn't take it seriously. His eyes fell on the field. Xia Wushuang against Wei Huo. It was not a big deal. He had to be ready to remind him to admit defeat at any time. On the field. Wei Huo said, I thought I would meet that fatty, but I didn't expect to meet you. We didn't meet in the town, but here. Let's have a try. Xia Wushuang added, you should be glad that you met me. If you really met Han Fei, I bet you would be killed by him. Wei Huo snorted coldly, and with a flash between his eyebrows, he shouted, "Fuse." Xia Wushuang also shouted, "Fuse." In an instant, Wei Hua threw out dozens of black spikes, which were so fast that they made a sound of friction with the air. Xia Wushuang's face changed slightly and he waved the rod in his hand extremely fast. Clank, 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 puff, Xia Wushuang frowned and a black spike brushed past his shoulder. This guy was an exotic ball fish. Illusion. His eyes turned white and Wei Hua on the opposite side staggered and shot dozens of black spikes in a row, but they were not shot in Xia Wushuang's direction at all. Xia Wushuang approached quickly with his rod. Explode, Wei Hua was immediately sent flying. Puff, Wei Hua vomited a mouthful of blood. He Xiaoyu shouted from the sidelines, "Good job. Beat him to death. Beat him hard." On the side of the Heavenly Fire Village, a group of teenagers looked solemn and someone said, "Captain is in trouble." Xia Wushuang has awakened an extremely rare human-faced crab, which has the ability to create illusions. Captain is trapped. Wei Hua flipped over and shot a string of black spikes, but Xia Wushuang didn't block them. He dodged them and quickly approached him. At this moment, Wei Hua shouted, "Explode," with Wei Hua as the center, hundreds of black spikes shot out in all directions. Obviously, this move was beyond Xia Wushuang's expectation. It was too late for him to retreat. Clank, clank, clank. Puff, 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 Xia Wushuang vomited a mouthful of blood and was pierced by at least 5 black spikes of spiritual energy. At this moment, his face was pale and he seemed to fall at any time. Good job, Captain. So what if it's an illusion? The ball fish attacks indiscriminately. Xia Wushuang gritted his teeth. I don't believe you can use this trick all the time. Immediately, a phantom of a human-faced crab appeared behind Xia Wushuang. As the crab's claws trembled, Wei Hua fought with the air. Left, right, black spikes shot out from the left, and black spikes shot out from the back. Xia Wushuang approached again and hit Wei Hua's head with a long rod. Thud. A ball fish appeared on Wei Hua's head, and both the ball fish and Wei Hua flew out. In midair, Wei Hua vomited blood and shot out hundreds of black spikes again. A few minutes later, Xia Wushuang, covered in blood, struggled to stand, while Wei Hua lay motionless on the ground. Wei Hua gritted his teeth. Admit defeat. Xia Wushuang cursed, "Damn, I almost killed him." With that, Xia Wushuang fell back. Han Fei went up and carried Xia Wushuang back, and he Xiaoyu quickly stuffed medicine into Xia Wushuang's mouth. Wang Baiyu said, "It's not bad that we can win. Unfortunately, this guy is too seriously injured. I'm afraid he will admit defeat in the next game." The challenge was very fast. The wind, rain, and water villages basically couldn't last more than 5 minutes. After a while, beside Han Fei, Qin Zhou stood up. The referee announced, Qin Zhou from the Heavenly Water Village versus Liang Xia from the Heavenly Sun Village. As soon as the two entered the arena, Liang Xia smiled. I thought that even if it wasn't Wang Baiyu, it should at least be Xiang Nan. I didn't expect it to be you, Qin Zhou. You can also play in the competition. Qin Zhou didn't speak. His spiritual beast was an iron-head fish, which was not very good. Although his weapon was not a rod, the explosive power of the axe was better than a rod. Fuse. Both sides shouted at the same time and then ran forward crazily. Chop. Liang Xia used a rod, so he was not afraid of this kind of chop. He shouted and was ready to fight with Qin Zhou. Bam! In an instant, a strong light burst from the axe. Liang Xia didn't expect Qin Zhou to be so desperate. Half of his spiritual energy was gathered in the axe. Did he think he was a fishing master? Liang Xia was sent flying. As soon as he got up, Qin Zhou's axe came at him. Stab! Liang Xia sneered and stabbed his long rod at Qin Zhou like a sword. Puff! The long rod directly penetrated Qin Zhou's lower abdomen, and the latter's eyes were bloodshot. Qin Zhou shouted, Chop! Liang Xia was shocked. Do you want to die? Do you want to take my stab? The next second, Liang Xia was shocked and hurriedly tried to dodge, but the axe was already coming. Crack! Liang Xia had never encountered such a reckless fight. Under the axe, one of his arms fell off. However, Chen Zhou held his breath. I can't lose, I can't lose. If I lose, even if I don't die, my life will be over. Bam! Chen Zhou hit Liang Xia with his head, which stunned the screaming Liang Xia, and then he chopped down with his axe. But a crayfish suddenly appeared above Liang Xia's head, and under the axe, the crayfish's shell was split in half. Puff! Chen Zhou fell on his back. Unfortunately, his desperate blow still failed to kill the opponent. Read 2. Chapter 134. Liang Xia's spiritual beast was killed. This was the first spiritual beast to die. If Chen Zhou had been holding a stick, he wouldn't have died. But Chen Zhou was holding an axe, and with a full-force blow, even the crayfish was cut in half. Gu Longyu was furious. Bastard, I'll kill him. At this time, Han Fei had already reached the field. He carried Chen Zhou back and ran while shouting, Wang Baiyu, Yao Yao. Chen Zhou smiled bitterly. I still didn't succeed. Han Fei, however, was very anxious. Even if he doesn't die, he will be crippled. It's the same as killing him. Chen Zhou grabbed Han Fei's clothes. I am not a traitor. Han Fei nodded. Yes. Then Chen Zhou fainted. Wang Baiyu quickly poured the medicine into Chen Zhou's mouth and said, this is the only fatal wound. There is a high chance that he can survive. At that moment, the village chief arrived. He glanced at Chen Zhou and said, leave it to me. Everyone present was stunned. In the Heavenly Wood village, Miao Mumu was dumbfounded. The Heavenly Water village has changed. In the Heavenly Rain village, Yun Qian took a deep breath. How domineering. This is a real life and death battle. In the Heavenly Heart village, Fang Qing's eyes flashed. How ruthless. In the spectator seats, countless people were stunned. Up until now, they had never seen such a clean and neat battle. The entire battle did not last more than 10 seconds. 2 axes to decide life and death. On the side of the Heavenly Water village, many people had tears in their eyes. Why did a child have to bear all this? Luo Chu's expression turned serious. Chen Zhou had already won this battle in everyone's hearts, but what about him? Could he be like Chen Zhou and carve out a path for himself? After a while, the referee announced, Pei Heng from the Heavenly Heart village versus Luo Chu from the Heavenly Water village. Luo Chu took a deep breath and went up the stage with his rod. Fuse. Kill. Pei Heng seemed to be aware of this and snorted, do you think I'm an idiot like Liang Xia? Pei Heng shouted, battle soul skill, strangulation. A long tail shadow directly strangled Luo Chu. Explode. Luo Chu's strike was like a hammer, and half of his spiritual energy was blasted out. Bang! Suddenly, Han Fei shouted, admit defeat. In the end, before Luo Chu could say anything, the saber in Pei Heng's hand flashed. In the next moment, Luo Chu fell to the ground, blood flowing from his neck. Han Fei's face was black and his heart was trembling. He glanced in the direction of the Heavenly Heart village and then at the audience who were cheering wildly. He hadn't expected the third match. In the past, if he didn't kill, he would die. But what was the point of this competition? Han Fei silently carried Luo Chu back. It was hopeless. He was killed with one stab. He Xiaoyu, your opponent is also from the Heavenly Heart village, right? Kill. With tears on her face, He Xiaoyu nodded hard. She did not hate Luo Chu. In fact, it was Hu Kun who instigated him. If he hated her, he would only hate Hu Kun. Wang Baiyu frowned. That Pei Heng is not from our academy, so we don't know his strength. If I had known, I would have asked him to admit defeat. Xia Wushuang struggled to sit up. I can still fight. Han Fei glared at him. Shut up. On the other side, Feng Qing said lightly, we've become enemies. Pei Heng, who had just returned, sneered. So be it. When have the people of Heavenly Heart Village been afraid? The referee announced, He Xiaoyu from the Heavenly Water Village versus Luo Yun from the Heavenly Heart Village. On the field. He Xiaoyu pointed at Luo Yun with her bamboo stick. Although you are a girl, I'm going to beat you to death. Luo Yun smiled. Ha! Are the people of the Heavenly Water Village so arrogant now? Isn't He Xiaoyu a crybaby? I remember how many times you cried in the town. Alas, I can't count them all. Fuse. He Xiaoyu shouted and Little Red entered her body. Suddenly, He Xiaoyu's whole body was burning with flames. This was the difference between an exotic spiritual beast and an ordinary spiritual beast. Luo Yun's face changed slightly, but then a sapphire color appeared on her body and a pair of rotating pincers appeared. Xia Wushuang said, Sapphire Crab, a rare creature with strong attack power. Han Fei knew that the sapphire crab's two big pincers were like two drills, but Han Fei smiled and said, I won. Xia Wushuang. Xiang Nan asked, how did you win? The battle had already begun. He Xiaoyu's long stick was burning with flames, and every blow of the stick would bring a pillar of fire. Seeing the rotating drill, He Xiaoyu rushed at it head-on. Luo Yun smiled disdainfully. Are you stupid? I'm a sapphire crab. Clang, with just one blow, Luo Yun's face changed drastically. How could He Xiaoyu's strength be so great and domineering? Clang, clang, He Xiaoyu played with the stick in her hand as if it were a part of her body, picking, stabbing, sweeping, chopping, flicking, and swinging. Luo Yun was directly hit into the air and didn't even fall to the ground. I admit, smack, He Xiaoyu's stick hit Luo Yun's mouth and broke all her teeth. But was it really over? Little Red was a fish of flames. Wherever it was hit by He Xiaoyu, it was burning. Ah! I admit, BAM, the second time Luo Yun admitted defeat, countless people from the Heavenly Heart Village were shouting, she admitted defeat. Referee, she violated the rules. Feng Qing also shouted to the referee, we have already admitted defeat. He Xiaoyu was fighting hard. She had the ability to stop Luo Yun from opening her mouth, but suddenly a hand blocked her stick. The referee announced, the other party has admitted defeat. He Xiaoyu froze for a moment. When did she admit defeat? The referee replied, even half a word can be regarded as admitting defeat. On the side of the Heavenly Water Village, a group of people roared, bullshit. Admit defeat? Who knows what she will admit? The referee warned, warning, boys from the Heavenly Water Village, if you speak rudely again, you will be expelled directly. Xia Wushuang was unwilling to give up and still wanted to speak, but he was pressed down by Han Fei. Shut up. Let me do it. He Xiaoyu stomped her feet angrily. How could she do this? I interrupted her. At this time, someone in the audience threw things at He Xiaoyu and cursed, bitch, why didn't you admit defeat, you from the Heavenly Water Village, don't let me meet you in the fishery next time. Bitch, you're courting death. Han Fei shouted to the audience with his stick, you from the Heavenly Heart Village, come to me if you dare, who the fuck do you think you are? Damn fatty. Swish, with a flash of cold light, a flying knife broke through the air and pierced the hand of the man who called him fatty, and blood gushed out. The referee was furious, pointing at Han Fei and shouting, you from the Heavenly Water Village, stop, or I can expel you now. Han Fei turned around and pointed at the referee with his stick. What? Let the people from the Heavenly Heart Village insult us? Is this how the people from the Heavenly Heart Village are taught? You can kill others, but if I beat your people, I'll beat you too. If you are unfair, believe it or not, I will beat you too. Hiss, when he said the last sentence, the whole audience was silent. What did this kid say? He even beat the referee. Is he crazy? The people from the other villages were all stunned. Meow Moo Moo folded her fists on her chest. Oh my god. This fatty is so domineering, so fierce. Wow, so domineering. Gu Longyu disdainfully said, idiot, he even wants to beat the referee. I don't want to say anything to him. He can be beaten to death. Wei Hua sneered. He's crazy. I actually like this fatty a little bit. Shen Tong said, arrogant and ignorant, he is digging his own grave. At this moment, the village leader of the Heavenly Water Village came back and shouted angrily, Han Fei, shut up, what are you doing? Han Fei waved at He Xiaoyu and then said to the stands, if you treat me unfairly again, I will challenge you one by one. You are all trash. The village leader scolded, Han Fei, shut up. Han Fei scratched his belly. Okay, I will shut up. Xia Wushuang swallowed. Damn, when can I be as crazy as him? Wang Baiyu shook his head. You have no chance. You will be beaten to death immediately. Xiang Nan asked, won't he be beaten to death? Jia Tong replied, not really. Even the big scorpion didn't kill him. Chen Qing took a deep breath. I believe you. Everyone in the juvenile team of the Heavenly Heart Village was furious. This was a blatant provocation. It was too crazy, too crazy. Fang Qing scolded, calm down. Don't forget, if Xiaoyu is so powerful, why is Han Fei the captain? Not long after, it was Han Fei's turn. The referee was also full of anger at the moment and took a deep look at Han Fei. Han Fei from the Heavenly Water Village versus Lin Yuan from the Heavenly Moon Village. In the auditorium. Beat him to death. Kill this fatty. He is too arrogant. He must think he is in the Heavenly Water Village. Han Fei walked onto the field with a stick, and in the angry shouts of the audience, he made a contemptuous thumbs-down gesture to everyone. Then he inserted the stick into the ground and crooked his finger at Lin Yuan opposite him. Lin Yuan was furious. What does this mean? Don't you want to use weapons? Shen Tong, the captain of the Heavenly Moon Village, shouted, Lin Yuan, be careful. Go all out, read 2. Chapter 135. Han Fei had angered the public. Now, except for the people of the Heavenly Water Village, almost everyone wanted Han Fei to be killed. On the Heavenly Moon Village's side, someone said, don't worry. Lin Yuan's spiritual beast is an armored turtle. Even if he is defeated, this fatty can't kill him. Someone wondered, I don't know what this fatty's soul is. If it's an exotic spiritual beast, it will be difficult. However, when Lin Yuan shouted, fuse, Han Fei didn't even open his mouth. Lin Yuan was furious. Damn, fatty, since you want to die, I'll help you. Kill. Lin Yuan rushed at him and the long knife in his hand was overflowing with knife energy. The long knife was only a few meters away from Han Fei, but Han Fei still didn't move. Someone in the audience was speechless. Is this fatty stupid? But at the next moment, when the long knife was about to reach Han Fei's door, Han Fei slightly twisted his body. In the blink of an eye, a knife had been inserted into Lin Yuan's chest and penetrated directly. Han Fei pulled out the knife, wiped it on Lin Yuan's clothes, and then pulled out the rod and walked back. It was not until Han Fei walked 5 or 6 meters away that he saw Lin Yuan fell to the ground. For a moment, the audience was silent. On the Heavenly Water Village's side, Xiang Nan rubbed his eyes. No. No way. I didn't see him pull out the knife. Xia Wushuang grinned. Cool. He killed the opponent without moving. He is very strong. Wang Baiyu's mouth twitched. He suddenly wondered how strong Han Fei was. Why could he survive the red-tailed Scorpion King? Before the referee shouted, the people of the Heavenly Moon Village had already rushed up. Someone roared angrily. There was no time to save him. He was already dead. In the courtroom, the village leader of the Heavenly Moon village took a deep look at old Zhao. Who is this person? Is he studying in the town? Old Zhao said leisurely, half a year ago, a teacher from the third academy in the town specially came to the Heavenly Water village to invite him, but he refused. Hearing this, all the village leaders present looked at old Zhao. In everyone's view, the opportunity to go to the town school was precious, but it was refused by a boy? Old Zhao was very happy at the moment. He deserves to be a guy who has been practicing hard for half a year. If you know that this guy is also a spirit gatherer, will you be shocked speechless? And if old Zhao knew that Han Fei was still a soul warrior, he would probably be speechless. Han Fei sat down and looked at He Xiaoyu. Am I handsome? He Xiaoyu snorted. If you are not so fat. A moment later, the 20 to 10 lucky draw began. This time, Han Fei drew a person from the Heavenly Sun village named Che Jie. Wang Baiyu said, I know this guy. His spiritual beast is a three-headed snake and he uses double knives. It doesn't matter how many times it takes. Over at Heavenly Sun village. Gu Longyu asked, Che Jie, do you want to admit defeat? This fatty isn't simple. Even if Lin Yuan isn't strong, he shouldn't have died so easily. Che Jie frowned. I have a three-headed snake body defense and a spiritual energy protective cover, so I shouldn't be killed in one blow. I'll admit defeat after one blow. I want to see if he will use his spiritual beast. Gu Longyu thought for a while. Che Jie was very strong, on the same level as Wei Hua and Xia Wushuang. The three-headed snake could spit out 3 kinds of ice flames, so it should be impossible to be killed in one blow. On the field, the manipulator Miao Mumu directly manipulated the spiritual plant to seal the opponent. Han Fei got up and said lightly, okay, it's my turn. When Han Fei walked onto the field again, although there were still people clamoring for his death, there were very few people now. This fatty didn't look simple at first glance. He didn't even use his spiritual beast to kill Lin Yuan just now. His rod was stuck in the ground. Fang Qing said lightly, Che Jie is very strong. Let's see how far he can push Han Fei. Fang Qing didn't say that Che Jie could win. In her opinion, it was impossible for him to defeat Han Fei in close combat. On the field, Han Fei stuck his rod in the ground and continued to wave at Che Jie. Che Jie shouted, asshole, do you think I am Lin Yuan? Han Fei, use your spiritual beast. Han Fei thought for a while. My spiritual beast is a spirit-swallowing fish. It's useless. What? The audience was in an uproar. Spirit-swallowing fish? Are you fucking kidding me? Gu Longyu was dumbfounded. No wonder this guy has never shown his spiritual beast. Spirit-swallowing fish? Shen Tong smiled. Ha, it seems that he can't use his spiritual beast. In this case, he is strong in close combat. If he attacks from afar. Che Jie snorted, humph, fuse. Attach. Spiritual energy protective cover, Che Jie fused with the three-headed snake and fused with the rare creature lightning crab, so he added a spiritual energy protective cover to his body. He had regarded Han Fei as the strongest enemy in his life. Kill! The 2 knives attacked Han Fei from above and below, but this was not his real killing move. His real killing move was the 3 ice flames. When Che Jie approached, he saw a flash of knife light. The spiritual energy protective cover was broken. The lightning crab fused with him. The 3-headed snake flew out to protect its master and its 3 heads fell to the ground. Che Jie's double knives finally cut Han Fei, but why did they make a clang? Che Jie was about to admit defeat when a cold light flashed. From then on, he never had a chance to speak again. Admit defeat after one blow. How could he admit defeat? Hiss, the field fell silent again. Han Fei said casually, if 1 cut doesn't work, then 2. At this moment, in the Heavenly Sun village, no one dared to challenge Han Fei on Gu Longyu's side. Was he still a human? Che Jia could be regarded as a powerhouse second only to him. 2 cuts. That was in the blink of an eye. Was there any difference between 2 cuts and 1 cut? Not only Gu Longyu, but all the contestants were horrified. Was that a human body? Isn't that fucking steel? How could they fight him? He stood still and they couldn't even break his defense. Fang Qing's pupils shrank. Everyone, be careful. If you encounter Han Fei in close combat, just admit defeat. Han Fei returned to his seat, and everyone looked at him as if he were a monster. He Xiaoyu hesitated for a long time. Are you really an intermediate fishing master? Han Fei thought for a while. I just used the power of an intermediate fishing master. The corners of Xia Wushuang and the others' mouths twitched. This guy didn't even use any combat skills. He just stood there and didn't even pull out his rod. Then his opponent was killed. This kind of person couldn't even use his trump card. How could they fight him? Xia Wushuang sighed. Forget it. I wanted to find time to fight with you. Forget it. I'd better go back to the town to challenge those strong masters. Xia Wushuang was afraid that his illusion would be useless to Han Fei and he would rush up stupidly. Then he would be killed by Han Fei. Half an hour later. 5 out of 10, lots were drawn. Only Miao Mumu from the Wind, Rain, and Wood villages was selected, and Han Fei happened to draw her. Miao Mumu immediately raised her hand. I admit defeat. The referee, Han Fei, also twitched his mouth. The battle hasn't started yet and you've already admitted defeat. How strong is your desire to survive? But the others also breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that Han Fei is not selected. Let him enter the top 5. If he killed his opponent with 1 cut, how embarrassing would the scene be? However, although Han Fei entered the top 5, he Xiaoyu drew Shintong, the captain of the juvenile team of the Heavenly Moon Village. Han Fei looked at Wang Baiyu. Wang Baiyu explained, Shintong, an exotic spiritual beast with the tentacles of Buddha's hand. It can absorb the opponent's spiritual energy and has a long attack range. Use a stick. Han Fei nodded and looked at He Xiaoyu. You can win, right? He Xiaoyu hesitated and thought for a while. I think so. Han Fei nodded. Just don't let the Buddha's hand touch you. He Xiaoyu nodded hard. The Buddha's hand is like a bloody anemone. It's disgusting. Han Fei seemed to think of something bad. There will always be more disgusting things in the future. The others were speechless. Are you serious? Are you sure you're going to win or lose? Disgusting. That thing is very powerful, okay? It took half an hour before it was He Xiaoyu's turn. Those who had advanced were Han Fei, Fang Qing, Gu Longyu, and a girl from the Heavenly Heart Village, Zhu Jin. He Xiaoyu was about to go up, when she heard Han Fei say, if you can't beat him, just admit defeat. He Xiaoyu nodded. Okay. Read 2. Chapter 136. In the arena, the moment Shintong fused with his spiritual beast, countless tentacles stretched out behind him like long whips. He Xiaoyu's whole body was on fire and she dodged crazily in the arena. Every time the long whips were about to hit her, He Xiaoyu seemed to have expected it. Her delicate body would always make some weird postures, as if she could easily avoid the whips of the tentacles. The whole audience was shocked. People generally didn't have such strong requirements for girls as boys. If she was chosen, many people wouldn't be able to bear it. Xia Wushuang glanced at Han Fei and said leisurely, Han Fei, why do I feel that you seem to know He Xiaoyu's weird moves too? Xiang Nan asked, are you two in love? That's why you learned a set of mysterious moves with him that no one else knows. Han Fei's face was black. Go away. That's what Fang Zhe taught us. We can't teach it to others. Wow, everyone was shocked. Fang Zhe had actually secretly taught them battle skills. This was too much. Why didn't they have such good luck? Wang Baiyu frowned. But although he Xiaoyu can avoid those tentacles, Shen Tong's attack seem a bit too dense. How can he Xiaoyu approach him? Han Fei shook his head. She lost this game. If he Xiaoyu had learned a Bao skill, she might have won. This is how melee fighters fight ranged fighters. If you can't get close, you can't win. Sure enough, he Xiaoyu was very aggrieved on the field. Shen Tong was too much. How could he have so many tentacles? It was hard for her to get close to him. He Xiaoyu was angry and threw out the bamboo rod in her hand with a swish, directly pressing all the spiritual energy in her body. Bam! Several tentacles were directly blown up, but they still couldn't block the power of the rod. Shen Tong was hit by the rod and was knocked 4 or 5 meters away, vomiting a mouthful of blood. But before Shen Tong fought back, he Xiaoyu shouted, "Admit defeat. Even if I can't beat you, I'll hit you." Shen Tong's face turned red with anger. How can she do this? He Xiaoyu walked over slowly to pick up the rod, and when she walked to Shen Tong, she said seriously, "It's useless for you to enter the top 5. You are destined to lose." Shen Tong snorted. "Is it any of your business?" He Xiaoyu came back angrily. "We can't beat him." Han Fei said with a smile, "It doesn't matter if I can't beat him. At least I'm confident." The rest of the team heaved a sigh of relief. No one knew if it was intentional or not. Shen Tong met the girl named Zhu Jin from the Heavenly Water Village. The girl used a bow in the first round, and her powerful archery skills confirmed the usefulness of bows. Shen Tong, this tentacle monster, did not even last for 5 minutes. She was a ranged attacker, and her opponent was even further away than her. Her tentacles could not reach him at all, and it was only a matter of time before she lost. Unfortunately, Gu Longyu met Fang Qing. To everyone's surprise, Gu Longyu didn't even enter the ring. He directly shouted that he gave up, which surprised many people. Gu Longyu sat in his seat and snorted. "Do you think I'm stupid? Fang Qing can lead the Heavenly Heart Village. Do you really think she's weak?" So the next scene was very awkward. There were only 2 people left in the Heavenly Heart Village, Zhu Jin and Fang Qing. And Han Fei was the only one left in the Heavenly Water Village. Even if Han Fei was defeated, he still became the dark horse of this resource competition, leading the Heavenly Water Village to the highest score in history, 2nd place. Seeing that the referee was about to draw lots, Han Fei suddenly stood up and said, "No need. The remaining 2, come at me together." Everyone. The referee? Fang Qing and Zhu Jin were shocked. Was he serious? Fang Qing knew that Han Fei was very strong, but she didn't know her true identity. In this case, he wanted to fight against 2 people alone. The audience was boiling. "Beat him." That's what he said. "Let's fight him together. He's so arrogant." The referee repeated, "Han Fei, are you sure you want to challenge 2 people at the same time in the field?" Han Fei snorted. "It's the last round. Let's solve it once and for all." The referee ignored him but looked at Fang Qing and Zhu Jin. "What do you 2 think? If you 2 don't agree, we'll continue to draw lots." Fang Qing said decisively, "Okay." Fang Qing was doubting Han Fei's strength. Han Fei hadn't used any combat skills yet, and according to her observation, his defensive ability was too strong. Che Jie's 2 knives were very strong, but they didn't even leave a mark on Han Fei's body. Han Fei walked onto the field and scratched his belly. "Smart, but it's a pity that you are 2 girls. I don't like killing people, let alone bullying girls. It's a pity that Pei Heng lost. Otherwise, as long as he dares to come up, I promise he won't admit defeat." On the players' bench, Pei Heng's face turned green. He was angry in his heart, but he didn't say anything. His strength was not much higher than Che Jie's. If he really went up to the field, he would be killed by Han Fei with 2 or 3 knives. Old Zhao's face was all black. "Why are you pretending now? Just finish the game and take the first place and leave. On the field, Fang Qing whispered a few words to Zhu Jin. Immediately, the two women shouted at the same time, "Fuse." Han Fei's eyes narrowed slightly. At the moment Fang Qing fused, she disappeared. Invisibility? No, it's just a camouflage. Han Fei keenly felt that there was more than one sound piercing through the air. Zhu Jing's arrows were piercing through the air, but he felt something was wrong. Han Fei suddenly tilted his head and the two knives in his hands suddenly cut through the air beside him. With a clang, someone was retreating continuously. Han Fei was about to chase after him, but 3 spiritual energy arrows blocked his way. Clank, 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 with 3 slashes, the 3 arrows of spiritual energy were directly smashed, and the air around Han Fei was shaking. Humph, again. The audience only saw Han Fei's body suddenly lean to one side and a knife suddenly surged with spiritual energy. He waved it out as fast as lightning, and a violent explosion broke out in the air. Fang Qing's figure appeared, gliding on the ground at this moment. Han Fei swung the knife in his hand and casually smashed a spiritual energy arrow shooting from behind. He felt like a big devil at this moment, looking at Fang Qing with a playful look. Han Fei asked, "What else can you do?" "Continue." Fang Qing was shocked. She could feel that the blow that Han Fei used was only the strength of an intermediate fishing master. How was it possible? As a hunter, even a peak-level fishing master had to avoid her attack when she burst out her power in an instant. How could he block it so easily? Xiao Jin, arrow rain. Fang Qing disappeared again and Zhu Jin shot an arrow into the sky. When the arrow fell, it had become a dense rain of arrows, which undoubtedly destroyed Han Fei's perception and hearing of Fang Qing. Han Fei muttered, "Not bad." Attach. 7 tails suddenly appeared behind Han Fei, and at the same time, he stretched out his hand and pressed the purple bamboo rod. In everyone's eyes, Han Fei was obviously playing cool. The sky was full of arrows and Fang Qing was lurking around, but this guy just stood there, holding the rod in one hand and playing cool. Some people were also surprised. What was Han Fei's contractual spiritual beast? Why did it have tails? Also, why did the tail look like a chain? When the dense rain of arrows fell, the 7 chains behind Han Fei moved. Clank, clank, clank. After staying in the rain of arrows for 5 seconds, Han Fei suddenly roared and made a 360-degree turn with the purple bamboo rod in his hand. The purple bamboo rod, which was infused with spiritual energy, drew a shining circle in the air. At this moment, Fang Qing's figure appeared. In order to avoid Han Fei's sweep, she jumped up directly and stabbed the dagger in her hand at Han Fei. However, when Fang Qing saw the playful smile at the corner of Han Fei's mouth, she was shocked. She had underestimated her opponent. Han Fei suddenly inserted the rod into the ground, pulled it violently, and bounced it off. Bim! Fang Qing was bounced off and vomited a mouthful of blood. Han Fei didn't look at her at all but quickly took the fishing rod from his back. With a swish, the fishing rod broke through the air and shot directly at Zhu Jin. Zhu Jin frowned and shot arrows in his hand, but the fish hook seemed to have eyes and was dodging. Xia Wushuang was shocked. Damn, hook technique. When did this guy learn such a powerful hook technique? The audience had already forgotten to shout at this moment. Who is this fatty? He's too abnormal. Does he think he's playing with children? At the moment when Zhu Jin wanted to escape, the fish hook suddenly accelerated, tied her up, and then retracted the rod. Han Fei sneered. What's the difference between a human and a fish? Since I can fish, I can also fish people. From behind, Fang Qing attacked again. This time, Han Fei didn't even look back. He pulled the purple bamboo rod inserted into the ground and flicked it again at the moment when Fang Qing attacked. Fang Qing was smashed away again, and Zhu Jin was caught in Han Fei's hand. Han Fei let go of the fishing rod and grabbed the longbow in Zhu Jin's hand with one hand. I thought there would be a great fishing master among you, but unfortunately, there isn't. How disappointing. Read 2. Chapter 137. Han Fei slapped Zhu Jin's lower abdomen and directly disabled her. It was not that he was cruel, but because Zhu Jin was very powerful. If he didn't disable her, she would be killed by the people of the Heavenly Water Village in the future. Han Fei picked up the longbow and pulled the bowstring, which scared Fang Qing and she hurriedly dodged. However, this time she really overestimated Han Fei. Han Fei's shooting skills were very poor. He shot more than a dozen times in a row but failed to hit Zhu Jin. Han Fei held the longbow and muttered, "Keep running. I'll try again. Don't worry. I'll hit her soon." Fang Qing's face darkened. Is he humiliating us? Fang Qing was sullen. I admit defeat. Han Fei said regretfully, Don't you want to continue? Zhu Jin recovered from the severe pain. Her face was pale and her eyes were dull. She felt Han Fei's power at the moment she touched him. At that moment, she felt that as long as Han Fei moved his hand, she would be beheaded immediately. Han Fei said coldly, Don't blame me. I'm not completely disabled. I can recultivate, but it's impossible for me to become a fishing master again. The audience was terribly quiet. The Heavenly Heart Village audience had never thought that they would lose. They won every year. What happened today? The Heavenly Water Village exploded? Not only Han Fei, but many people also exploded and fought with their lives on the line. The referee was silent for a long time. In the juvenile group, the Heavenly Water Village wins. But after the comprehensive evaluation, the adult group of the Heavenly Water Village only ranks 4th, so the overall score ranks 2nd. Han Fei let go of Zhu Jin and let Fang Qing take her away, while he shouted to the referee, Wait a minute. The referee frowned. Han Fei, what do you want to say? Han Fei grinned. Can I challenge the adult group? What? The whole arena exploded in an instant. What the hell? It was the first time in history that the juvenile group challenged the adult group. Han Fei pointed in the direction of the Heavenly Moon Village. Hey, Shi Feiyu, how about a fight? Arrogant. I'm so angry. I really want to kill this fatty. Damn, I want to vomit blood. Damn it, kill him. Han Fei once again angered the crowd. The Heavenly Moon Village was also in an uproar. Some people in the adult group were eager to fight but were suppressed by their captain. Shi Feiyu looked a little flustered. You're not allowed to go. If you win, it won't be honorable. If you lose, our Heavenly Moon Village will lose all its face. That youth is dangerous. He's strong, very strong. Seeing that no one entered the arena, Han Fei murmured, None of them can fight. Those who could hear him wished they could tear him to shreds. Han Fei, on the other hand, returned to the team indifferently. He thought to himself, since I'm so arrogant and good at fighting, I should be a genius. It should meet the standard that old Jiang mentioned, right? No one in the team spoke to Han Fei. Well, Wang Baiyu, when are we going back to the town? Wang Baiyu thought for a moment. Maybe in a few days. If I don't go back to town, I'll be beaten up. Xiang Nan was interacting with He Xiaoyu. He Xiaoyu, I find that you have become more beautiful recently. He Xiaoyu said in surprise, Really? How beautiful. Xiang Nan said shamelessly, I can't find anyone better looking than you in our village. Chen Qing asked Jia Tong, when we return to the village, do you want to eat hot pot? Jia Tong nodded. Eat up. If we don't eat now, we won't be able to eat in the town. Han Fei. Han Fei was speechless. Don't you care about me, the champion? I just won first place. Xia Wushuang passed by Han Fei. Let's go, the game is over. Let's go back to the village. We can't stay in the Heavenly Heart Village anymore. He Xiaoyu nodded. Okay. I'm going home to play fish dragon cards with my father. We need one more player. Anyone want to join us? Xiang Nan responded, let's go, I'll go. Han Fei. What happened next was none of Han Fei's business. What could the Heavenly Heart Village do? If they couldn't beat him, they couldn't. Could ordinary people beat Han Fei? When they returned to the Heavenly Water Village, it was already late. The village leader held a banquet in the Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant and announced to the whole town that the Heavenly Water Village had made a comeback and won 3,000 portions of Spirit Awakening fluid for this year. For a time, every household in the Heavenly Water Village was decorated with lanterns and streamers. Some played cards and some ate barbecue. The business of the Fish Dragon soared. At the dinner table, Qin Hai, who had just recovered from his injuries, ran over. Han Fei, how strong are you now? When Qin Hai heard that Han Fei had defeated the Heavenly Heart Village and won first place, he was stunned. He even couldn't sit still when he heard that Han Fei had challenged the adult team of the Heavenly Heart Village. Han Fei scratched his belly. I'm still a fishing master. Everyone silently realized what it meant to still be a fishing master. An intermediate fishing master was still a fishing master, and a peak-level fishing master was still a fishing master, but the gap between them was too big. Wang Baiyu pondered. Han Fei, you should go to the town. I'm afraid the village has limited your growth. Han Fei nodded. Soon. In the evening. In the plantation. Han Fei sat at the door, accompanied old Jiang to drink some wine, and then said, Old man, was my performance amazing this time? Was I a genius? Old Jiang said disdainfully, Humph, how dare you brag about your little achievement? Do you think I don't know? Why did you use other people's bows to shoot at them? Han Fei was speechless. How do you know everything? Old Jiang sneered. It's not difficult at all. Do you think your performance is already excellent? But the mayor didn't talk to you, which means that your talent is acceptable to him, understand? Han Fei scoffed, why did the mayor talk to me? Am I a genius? Gulp. Ah. Old Jiang took a sip of wine and said, you don't understand. When you went to the 4th Academy, you had to be a genius. What level do you think these little guys from the town are? They are all at the bottom of the town. Only a few of them can show their talent. What's there to be proud of? Han Fei, at this time, Jiang Qin came out of the house, winked at Han Fei, and ran to the training ground. Training ground. Jiang Qin went straight to the point. How long will it take to get to the town? Han Fei thought for a while. I think I'll break through to become a great fishing master. I feel that this breakthrough is more difficult and may need a lot of spiritual energy. Jiang Qin wondered, huh? You don't have enough spiritual energy? Han Fei smiled awkwardly. I don't think so. Jiang Qin frowned. Even with a spirit gathering array? Han Fei nodded. I haven't tried it yet, but I think it may be a little difficult. Jiang Qin squinted at Han Fei. When a fishing master makes a breakthrough, his endurance limit will continue to increase, and then he will absorb a lot of spiritual energy from the outside world. How can he not have enough spiritual energy? Han Fei thought to himself, I can't tell you. Jiang Qin didn't ask any more but said calmly, in fact, the level 1 fishery is not without treasures. Don't you have mantis shrimp? Mantis shrimp are good at digging holes. Go to the mine. It is said that there are opportunities in the mine. The reason why people often go to the mine is that some people have found opportunities in the mine. Mine? Han Fei had never thought about this place. What use did those stones have except for refining? Every time he passed by, Han Fei could always see people wandering in the mine, so he took it for granted that there were no opportunities in the mine. But now Jiang Qin said so, he was not so sure. Digging holes? Did she mean that he should dig holes into the mine? Early the next morning, Han Fei went to sea without saying goodbye to anyone. His goal was the seabed mine. After the resource competition 2 days ago, there were many people going to sea today. In order to keep a low profile, Han Fei put away the fishing boat at the edge and dived into the sea. Han Fei summoned the nine-tailed mantis shrimp. Mantis shrimp, let's go. Although fishing masters were not afraid of going into the sea, there were not many who would really choose to go into the sea, so Han Fei hardly met anyone along the way. About 2 hours later, Han Fei came to the seabed mine. Sure enough, there might be few people in other places, but there were still people digging with hoes in the seabed mine. Han Fei asked, "Nine-tailed mantis shrimp, can you break these stones?" The nine-tailed mantis shrimp waved his big hammer as if to say, "Just wait and see." Han Fei patted the shrimp's head, sank to the bottom of the sea, chose a random hole dug by someone, and got into it. Thud, Han Fei slapped the nine-tailed mantis shrimp on the head. "I'll dig with my claws. Do you want to shock your master to death?" Han Fei glanced at the hole dug by the nine-tailed mantis shrimp, wondering if it would break the hole even if it dug out something. Suddenly, Han Fei had an idea. "Wait, can Little Black bite through stones?" Read 2. Chapter 138. After Little Black and Little White were released, they were dumbfounded. "Little Black?" Han Fei patted Little Black's head. "Can you bite a stone?" Little Black bared his teeth and ran to the stone. Han Fei thought he was going to bite it, but he kissed the stone and then ran back, as if saying that the stone was not delicious. Han Fei was speechless. "Did I ask you to eat it?" "I asked you to dig it." Little Black reluctantly went up and bit a small hole. Then he spat out the stone in his mouth and looked back at Han Fei. Han Fei covered his head. "Forget it. I won't count on you. You just eat without working." Little Black looked at Little White as if saying that this was a guy that just ate without working. He didn't even bother to eat fish. "I ate for him." Little White wagged his tail, circled the hole a few times, and then turned around and swam away. "Hey, hey, hey. Little White, where are you going?" Seeing that Little White had swum out of the pit, Han Fei hurriedly said, "Nine Tails, stop digging. Let's go." Han Fei followed Little White and wondered, did Little White find something? This little thing usually only swallowed spiritual energy and did everything that was beneficial to it. When there were no benefits, it would stay by Han Fei's side and act cute. This was the first time that Little White had left his side voluntarily. 10 minutes later, Han Fei followed Little White to a pit that was also dug by someone else and got into it. Han Fei wondered, are we going to dig from here? Nine Tails, it's up to you now. Dig hard. When you are done, I will catch rare creatures for you and refine all your 9 tails. Dum, 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 the 9-tailed mantis shrimp was like a boxer, punching the stone wall of the mine again and again. Han Fei even wondered if the mine would collapse. What if he was crushed to death? However, creatures like mantis shrimp were really good at digging. With a hammer, the stone was broken, and with a hook of its claws, a piece of stone was dug out. Han Fei followed it and picked up stones. "Ruby, I don't know what it can be used for." "It can be used as a pendant or something." "Black iron, but it's too small to make anything." "Forget it, I'll keep it." "Fine iron." This mine is really strange. Why does it have everything? Half a day later, when the 9-tailed mantis shrimp had dug more than 100 meters deep, Little Black suddenly moved. He bit the stone on the side, bit by bit, and soon, a palm-sized hole was drilled out of it. There was a flash of light in the cave, and then Little Black came out with a glowing stone in its mouth. Name Low-Grade Spirit Stone. Introduction, condensed from the essence of spiritual qi, contains a large amount of spiritual qi, can assist in cultivation, contains spiritual energy 9658 points inedible. Absorbable. Han Fei immediately gasped. Oh my god, a stone costs nearly 10,000 points of spiritual energy. Isn't it more valuable than spiritual fruits? Han Fei was ecstatic. All the spiritual energy had been thrown to him. There was indeed something wrong here. Did Jiang Qin know about it? It must be. Old Jiang and Jiang Qin, the grandfather and grandson, must have a powerful background. Little Black, is there any more? Dig for me. Dig it out and I'll find rare spiritual fish for you to eat. The nine-tailed mantis shrimp looked at Han Fei bitterly. I dug it out. Why do you want to find rare spiritual fish for it to eat? Little Black took out 2 more low-quality spiritual stones from the hole and then didn't go in again. Han Fei knew that they had been dug out. He immediately slapped the nine-tailed mantis shrimp's head. Keep digging. Didn't you eat? 1 day later. Han Fei dug out 9 low-quality spiritual stones. This speed was even faster than extorting the hexagon starfish. In the past 6 months, in order to practice as a soul warrior, he had spent 700,000 points of aura value. Plus the aura that he had obtained from his daily practice, he had used at least 1,000,000 points of aura in the past 6 months. Even so, he was only a peak-level fishing master and hadn't obtained the 3rd level of void fishing yet. God knew how much spiritual energy he would need to deduce it. 3 days later. When someone came to the mine, he exclaimed, "Huh! Why do I feel that the spiritual energy in the mine seems to be a little less?" When someone continued to dig, the probability of digging things like black iron seemed to be reduced. 10 days later. All the people who came to the mine found that something was wrong. The spiritual energy in the mine dropped sharply, and even fewer fish came here. 15 days later. With a bang, nearly 1/10 of the mountain collapsed in the seabed mine of the level 1 fishery. Several fishing masters who were mining were unfortunately crushed to death. Han Fei's face was gloomy at this moment. Who asked you to hammer? See? Such a big mountain, but it collapsed because of you. The nine-tailed mantis shrimp felt wronged. Didn't you ask me to hammer? The harder I hammered, the happier you would be. Why is it all my fault now? Han Fei dug out a piece of gravel, found 3 low-quality spiritual stones from it, and immediately threw them into Forge the Universe. In the past half-month, Han Fei dug out a total of 159 low-quality spiritual stones. At this time, he remembered those people who looked down on the mine. The good things were all in the innermost part of the mine. What's the use of digging holes outside? Nine-tailed mantis shrimp, come on, hammer up and make a way out. Otherwise, we'll be trapped here forever. 3 days later. When Han Fei saw a red spiritual stone, he was completely stunned. Name Ultra-Quality Spiritual Stone Introduction. A condensed from the essence of spiritual liquid, contains a huge amount of spiritual energy, and can be used for cultivation. Contains spiritual energy greater than 920,168 points. Edible effect, inedible. Wow, Han Fei gasped. What the hell is this? A stone of 920,000 points of spiritual energy. He swore that he was absolutely rich. It took him half a year to spend 700,000 points of spiritual energy, but now he was told that a stone was enough for him to spend half a year. His worldview was almost overturned. Damn, I'm rich. Han Fei quickly knocked the pale red spiritual stone off with a stick. Ha ha ha, an ultra-quality spiritual stone, no one could have thought of this. There is such a treasure in a damn place like the level 1 fishery. Rumble, just when Han Fei pulled out the ultra-quality spiritual stone, the mountain cracked and a huge crack appeared in front of Han Fei. Oh, it's going to collapse. Han Fei quickly took back the nine-tailed mantis shrimp, Little Black, and Little White and immediately swam out through the gap. Dozens of minutes later, in the sea, a chubby figure jumped out like a fish. Behind him, the seabed mine collapsed, and the whole mountain collapsed. It was said that no less than 10 fishing masters were crushed to death. Countless fishing masters from the 8 villages went to the seabed mine to hunt for treasures. But one of them was an exception. Han Fei had already slipped back to the Heavenly Water village. There were bound to be spirit stones in those broken mountains, but he did not care about those scattered spirit stones. He now had more than 150 low-grade spirit stones on him, and he also had a top-grade spirit stone, so they would be envious to death. Han Fei didn't know that when he slipped away, the village leaders of the villages cursed him crazily. Who the fuck took out the core of the mine? Shameless. Once the spiritual energy is gone, it will become a pile of abandoned stones. Damn it, don't let me find that bastard. Even Jiang Qin was speechless when she heard that the mine had collapsed. I told you to dig for some opportunities, not to dig a mountain and collapse it. The martial arts practice Hall of the Fish Dragons. There were dozens of low-quality spiritual stones in front of Han Fei. They couldn't be eaten, so he could only leave them here. And it was time for him to make a breakthrough. Breakthrough. After a while, with a crack, a column of spiritual energy penetrated Han Fei's head. And the spiritual stones in front of Han Fei were broken piece by piece. In just half an hour, nearly 20 spiritual stones had been broken. Kacha. Kacha. When Han Fei opened his eyes again, the corner of his mouth twitched. He counted carefully. 48 low-quality spiritual stones had been broken into pieces. This meant that he had used nearly 500,000 points of spiritual energy to break through to be a great fishing master this time. This number really shocked Han Fei. Even if you have money, you can't use it like this. I'm just making a breakthrough. Do I need so much spiritual energy to make a breakthrough? He looked at the data. Owner Han Fei, level greater than 23, Junior Great Fishing Master, spiritual energy greater than 70,122, 1899, spiritual heritage level 3, high quality, upgradable, spiritual beast, twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish weapon, purple bamboo rod, main art void fishing, volume 2, hook god, mysterious level, divine quality. Han Fei gasped. What's going on? My upper limit of spiritual energy has increased by 900 points. Isn't this a bit too exaggerated? Great Fishing Master, is this the power of a great fishing master? So strong. Ha ha ha. Han Fei laughed heartily, but suddenly found that the fat on his face trembled a little less. He looked down and found that he had lost a lot of weight. If he was a ball before, well, now he was at most a small ball. Compared with when he just put on weight, he had lost a quarter of his weight after breaking through to be a great fishing master. Han Fei immediately went out. The two fish dragons at the door were taken aback when they saw Han Fei. Young master, you've lost weight. Ha ha ha. Yes, I've lost weight. You can talk. Go to the accountant and get 10 mid-quality pearls. Ah. Thank you, young master. The other gang member was anxious. How could there be a reward for this? He hurriedly flattered, young master, with your speed, you will return to your peak appearance in less than half a month. Ha ha ha. Not bad, not bad. You can talk. Go get the money. Read 2. Chapter 139. Han Fei strolled to the hot pot restaurant and Li Gang was shocked. Young master, you've lost weight. Han Fei's face was shaking with joy. Ha ha ha. You've seen through me. How's the effect? Am I much more handsome now? Li Gang smiled flatteringly. Of course, young master, you have always been handsome. Han Fei smiled. Okay, then I'll go to the village leader's house. When Han Fei arrived at the village leader's house, the village leader was talking to the two fishing masters who had just become fishing masters in the village. As he spoke, the village leader's eyes widened. The village leader was surprised. Han Fei, why have you lost weight? Han Fei said happily, I'm a thin man. It's natural for me to lose weight. Don't judge me. What do you mean? Oh. It's okay. I just came here for a stroll. Well, Grandpa Leader, do you have the 3rd level of the true spirit fishing art? The village leader frowned and said to the two fishing masters who had just become fishing masters, well, you go back first and come back tomorrow. I have something to do today. When the two fishing masters left, the village leader pulled Han Fei over solemnly. Have you become a great fishing master? Han Fei was surprised. Ah! You saw through me just like that? Of course, you want the third level of the true spirit fishing art. How can I not know? Han Fei rubbed his belly. Ha! I was lucky to make a breakthrough today, lucky. The village leader gasped. He never expected that Han Fei could become a great fishing master so quickly. A level 3 spiritual heritage was not good. Could it be that old Jiang was really a hidden master? The village leader shook his head slightly and pulled Han Fei over. Han Fei, have you ever considered changing your cultivation method? Han Fei shook his head blankly. Ah! Can I change my cultivation method? The village leader nodded. Of course, the true spirit fishing art is just a mortal level, mid-quality cultivation method, and every higher level is just a mid-quality cultivation method. However, there are some special cultivation methods that are directly high-grade or even supreme-grade cultivation methods. Don't you feel tempted? Han Fei frowned. Where? The village leader's face lit up. Thinking that Han Fei was tempted, he hurriedly said, of course it's in the town. Of course, there may be ultra-quality cultivation methods in the town, but ordinary people may not be able to get them. But there's definitely a chance for a high-grade cultivation technique. Han Fei pondered for a moment. It was impossible for him to change it. His void fishing art was a divine quality one. Why would he want an ultra-quality one? Grandpa Leader, please give me the third level of the true spirit fishing art. I'll keep it for now. If I get a better technique in the village, I'll have to practice the true spirit fishing art if I can't get it. The village leader sighed. You don't understand. The true spirit fishing art is flawed. Ah. Han Fei paused. What defect? The village leader clasped his hands behind his back and sighed. It said that the true spirit fishing art was rewritten from an incomplete book passed down from ancient times. Its effect is greatly reduced. It's also said that the higher you practice the true spirit fishing art, the more difficult it will be. Are you sure you want it? Of course, Han Fei wanted it even more. It meant that it had great potential. Yes. I may not be able to practice it to such a high level. The village leader was taken aback. Yes, Han Fei only had a level 3 spiritual heritage. He was probably a peak-level great fishing master. One more step and he would be a peak-level great fishing master. It was very difficult to make a breakthrough to become a dangling fisher. Even if he had a chance to make a breakthrough, he wouldn't have a smooth journey as a dangling fisher. Why did he think so much? Han Fei successfully reached the third level of the true spirit fishing art. After skimming through it, his face turned green when he saw the data. Existing art, true spirit fishing art, incomplete, level 3, water control technique, incomplete, remarks at the first general art from ancient times. After the passage of time, it has long been incomplete. Repairing it will consume 1 million points of spiritual energy. Deduced art, avoid fishing art level 3, water vein technique degree of completion, 010000000. Han Fei was dumbfounded. Is the demon purification pot a devil? He felt that he had found the deduction routine of the demon purification pot. If the demon purification pot increased the spiritual energy by 10 times for the next level, wouldn't it cost him 10 million points of spiritual energy when he reached the 4th level of the void fishing art? Han Fei was a little desperate. In fact, 10 million points of spiritual energy was not that desperate. After all, he could always save it in 2 or 3 years, but the 5th level would cost 100 million points. It would take dozens of years to save up that kind of stuff. Damn it, you didn't come when I got the best spirit stone, did you? It seems that I have to continue to find ways to earn spiritual energy in the town. One ultra-quality spiritual stone is directly used to deduce the art, and it's not enough. Forget it, let's go to the town first. In the plantation. Han Fei walked in with his head high and chest out. Old Jiang was eating skewers and drinking, as if he didn't see Han Fei. So Han Fei walked again, and again, and again. When he walked for the 7th time, old Jiang cursed, "Fuck off, fatty." Han Fei was furious. "Grandpa, what's wrong with you? Look, I've lost weight. Don't you see it?" Old Jiang sneered disdainfully. "Just a slightly thinner fatty. Grandpa, believe it or not, I can lose weight again within a month." Old Jiang was still disdainful. "I don't care if you are thin or fat. Why are you still in the Heavenly Water Village? Don't you want to go to the town?" Han Fei held his belly out. "Fuck. I'm here to say goodbye to you." In the evening, Jiang Qin came back. Seeing that Han Fei had cooked a table full of dishes, she smiled. "Are you going to the town?" Han Fei nodded. "Yes. I'm going to see how powerful the 4th Academy is according to old Jiang." Jiang Qin paused for a moment and then nodded. "Okay, with your current strength, it's barely enough for you to go to the 4th Academy." "Huh?" Han Fei was stunned. "What do you mean my strength is barely enough? Is the 4th Academy a devil? Then why does he Xiaoyu say it's a garbage school?" Han Fei was a little suspicious. "Is it the kind of school that looks shabby but is actually very powerful?" Old Jiang enjoyed the meal the most. Han Fei was thinking about the 4th Academy and Jiang Qin was a little absent-minded. After the meal, old Jiang threw a letter to Han Fei. "Fuck off." Han Fei picked up the letter and glanced at it. It said, "To the old bastard." Han Fei's blood froze. "If I take this letter out, will I be beaten to death?" Jiang Qin sent Han Fei out of the plantation. After a moment of silence on the way, she said, "Don't forget what you promised me." Han Fei said with a smile, "Of course, when I am strong enough, I will come back. I'm good at finding treasures. No matter how mysterious a place is, I may be able to find it." Jiang Qin nodded. "Okay. Just go. There is nothing worthy of your nostalgia in the Heavenly Water Village." Han Fei nodded and left without looking back. A man of indomitable spirit. "When I return, I will come back." At the headquarters of the Fish Dragons, a core member meeting was held. Li Gang, who was in charge of the hot pot restaurant. Li Gan, the guardian. Li Qing, the barbecue vendor. Chen Eryu, the manager of the Fish Dragon card room. All of them sat upright and no one dared to speak. Han Fei said seriously, "I called you here today to tell you that I'm leaving for the Blue Sea Town." Although everyone had guessed it, there was still a commotion. Li Gang choked. "Young master, I can't bear to see you go." Han Fei kicked him. "Stop crying. If you can't bear to see me go, why don't you come with me?" "Ah. Young master, don't you have such a big family business here? I have to take care of it for you." Everyone looked at Li Gang in disdain. How could they not know how powerful Li Gang was now? As the richest man in the Fish Dragons, he and his little Red were living like gods. Now, he didn't even go fishing. Han Fei patted the table. "Okay, enough with the nonsense. The Fish Dragons have their own principles. They are not allowed to violate the law, persecute the people, deduct the benefits of the members, and..." Han Fei gave a long speech and in the end, his aura burst out, pressing everyone present to the ground, including Li Gan. Li Gan was horrified. Great. Great. Great fishing master." Han Fei withdrew his aura and then said to his frightened subordinates, "Although I am no longer in the Heavenly Water Village, I have friends and teachers in the Heavenly Water Village. If anyone dares to abuse their power after I leave, I will teach them a lesson. Also, Gang Zi, send half of the monthly income of the Fish Dragons to the Blue Sea Town." Li Gang nodded quickly. "Yes, young master." Han Fei continued, "By the way, take care of my house for you. I don't want my house to be gone when I come back." "Yes, young master, I will clean it for you personally." Han Fei patted Li Gang. People go to higher places and water flows to lower places. In the Heavenly Water Village, there is only the Heavenly Water Village and you will never know how high the sky is. With that, Han Fei turned around and left, muttering, I'm leaving. Li Gang and the others were left standing in the conference room dumbfounded. The village leader's house. Han Fei said, Grandpa Leader, I'm going to the Blue Sea Town, read 2. Chapter 140. Han Fei sat on the fishing boat, feeling very excited. Finally, he went out. The village leader sent Han Fei in person. Otherwise, ordinary villagers would have to apply step by step and pay the money to go to the Blue Sea Town. The village leader frowned. Han Fei, are you really going to the 4th Academy? That school is actually very bad and no one goes there. It is said that it was in its heyday 30 years ago. Han Fei replied firmly, Grandpa Leader, the other 3 schools are not in the enrollment season, but the 4th Academy is the only one. The village leader continued to persuade him. But that school has a very bad reputation. It is said that there are no teachers and several students sleep in it all day. It is said that the school's library leaks. The corner of Han Fei's mouth twitched. What kind of school is this? Why is the reputation so bad? However, despite the bad reputation, Han Fei felt that there must be some unknown secrets in this school. Otherwise, old Jiang and Jiang Qin wouldn't have left him there. Grandpa Leader, don't worry about it. I'll stay there until the enrollment of the 3 academies next year. I don't want to live in the town and idle around every day. The village leader sighed slightly. See for yourself. After all, you have become a great fishing master. Han Fei, do you know that you are the 9th person in the history of the Heavenly Water Village to become a great fishing master at the age of 12? Han Fei smiled. I'm going to be 13 soon, and Angel Fang Zhe said that there are many great fishing masters at the age of 12 in the city. Maybe a 7 or 8-year-old child can already be a great fishing master. The village leader was speechless. Compared with them, they live in the city and you live in the countryside, okay? Han Fei's white fishing boat flew for more than 4 hours before he saw the floating island of the Blue Sea Town. Although Han Fei had been mentally prepared, he still gasped. He Xiaoyu didn't lie to him. Isn't this town too big? The point was that the Blue Sea Town was not composed of one floating island, but 5 floating islands. There were countless huge chains between the floating islands, and there were even clouds floating around the floating islands. From the bottom, it looked like a gigantic UFO. When he got closer, Han Fei saw water flowing down from an island like a waterfall. Han Fei asked, Grandpa Leader, is there a waterfall on the island? The village leader looked at Han Fei as if looking at a fool. Of course, there are mountains and clouds on the island. At night, the sky is full of stars and the market is hundreds of feet high. It's much better than you think. So beautiful. The village chief laughed and said, now you know why those who are qualified to come to the island are unwilling to go back, right? It's a symbol of status, and you haven't seen the scenery on the island yet. Oh, by the way, the people on the island always look down on people from our village who go up there. We'll be ostracized and treated with hostility when we go up there. Don't make it big. I know, I am a low-key person, and didn't you say that there are few people in the 4th Academy? The village chief chuckled. You want to keep a low profile? During the resource competition, you declared war on the entire Heavenly Heart Village, and you still want to keep a low profile? I'm afraid you don't understand the meaning of the word low-key. The village leader didn't quite believe Han Fei and emphasized, the Blue Sea Town has a population of nearly 5 million. There are many geniuses and strong masters here. Don't cause trouble. Han Fei said absent-mindedly, I know. 5 million is too much, isn't it? Soon, the fishing boat floated out of the clouds, and Han Fei saw hundreds of fishing boats patrolling around this huge island. He vaguely saw peaks thousands of meters high standing on the island and several vast rivers on the island. In addition, there were towering ancient trees, towering pagodas, and many buildings that Han Fei had never seen before, at the port of the Blue Sea town. The village leader showed his identity, but the staff looked at Han Fei. "What are you doing here?" The village leader replied, "Hey. This is a heavenly talent from our village. He came to the island to study." However, the staff waved his hand and said, "It's not the enrollment season now. Go back. Come back when it's the enrollment season." Han Fei muttered in his heart, "What a joke. He's just a fishing master. Why are you so arrogant? If you were in the village, I would beat you up now." The village leader smiled. He didn't come to the 3 academies to study, but to the 4th academy of the Blue Sea town. The 4th academy? The staff was taken aback and then sneered. Someone actually went to the 4th academy to study? Did he rely on his connections? Han Fei slightly released his aura. He's here to study. The staff's face changed slightly. A great fishing master. Even the staff in the town couldn't help but be surprised. A young great fishing master actually went to the 4th academy to study? Was he hit in the head by an iron-head fish? However, because Han Fei had shown his strength, the staff didn't make things difficult for him. There were many great fishing master students in the town. But unlike Han Fei, they were all heavenly talents and most of them studied in the 3 academies. The staff handed over a wooden plate. "This is a temporary pass. If you don't go to school within 15 days, you must return to the village voluntarily. Otherwise, the patrols in the sky will expel you." Han Fei frowned. "Village leader, are the people in the town so arrogant?" The village leader chuckled. "Of course not. Don't mention it. I did it for a reason." "What reason?" Han Fei clenched his fists. "To avenge my companions." The village leader snorted. "That's called impatience. Young man, don't be impatient." An old man and a young man walked in the market outside the port, and the peddlers were endless. The things here were different, even very different. On the roadside, someone shouted, "A rare armored turtle that just went to sea. Does anyone want it? It's cheap, only 80 mid-quality pearls, spirit-chasing shrimp on sale. 40 mid-quality pearls for 1. Does anyone want it? Iron fish body polishing fluid wholesale, 5 mid-quality pearls for a bottle, buy 10 bottles and get 1 free, delicious flour oysters, 1 mid-grade spirit bead for 2, anyone interested? I'm looking for someone to explore the level 2 fishery with me. I'll reimburse all the elixir and bait expenses for 100 mid-quality pearls each time. Does anyone want it?" Suddenly, a bearded man looked at Han Fei and said, "Young man, I have a bull conch here. Do you want it? It'll only cost you 200 mid-quality pearls. I promise you won't suffer a loss." Han Fei waved his hand awkwardly. "No, thanks. I'm in a hurry." Han Fei was a little stunned. Did the people here all use mid-quality pearls? The village leader said, "Don't worry. The things here can be cut in half or even lower. When you become a great fishing master, you'll know that it's not difficult to catch these things." Han Fei nodded repeatedly. "Okay." Han Fei then passed by the shops along the street. At a glance, he saw a treasure fishing rod shop, on which there was a big sale, 20 mid-quality pearls for a fishing rod. There was also a bait monopoly shop, on which there was a 20% discount. The village leader said, "Don't look at these. The best fishing rod shops and weapon shops in the town are all in the town center. Do you see that tower? That tower is called the Linglong Tower. It sells everything you can think of. There's nothing it can't sell." Han Fei swallowed. It sounds very high-end. I'll find a chance to go there after I go to school. I'm rich now. Although these people sell things at high prices, I can throw them in the face with mid-quality pearls. Han Fei walked along the way. There were all kinds of shops and fishing masters almost everywhere. Is this the town? It's really amazing. Soon, Han Fei and the village leader came to a huge chain. The village leader explained, the fourth academy is relatively remote. It's on the northernmost floating island. Except for the fourth academy, there are large tracts of plantations on that island, but not many people live there. Since you've learned how to grow spiritual fruits from old Jiang, you can walk around here. Han Fei asked, Leader, how are we going to get there? The village leader pointed to the chain and said, Walk over. This chain is so thick. The width of a single chain is dozens of meters. Are you afraid of falling? Han Fei shrugged. It's my first time here. Isn't it strange to walk on a chain? But such a thick chain shouldn't shake, right? Han Fei felt that he had to practice the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing and the indestructible body as soon as possible. It would only take him a month. Otherwise, the new students might think that he was a big fatty. After passing through the chain and the plantation, Han Fei observed along the way. The surroundings of the plantation were shabby. Wasn't it afraid that someone would steal it? Passing by some dilapidated houses, Han Fei finally saw a school in front of the mountain on this floating island. Han Fei wasn't sure himself. The school's sign was hanging on the archway, and the sign read, Thug Academy. Han Fei was speechless. Thug Academy? Why does it have such a strange name? The village leader said with a black face, It's the Thug Academy. Han Fei, in an instant, Han Fei felt as if he had been hit by 10,000 points. Damn it, are you so poor? The sign is about to fall off and the words have fallen off. Can't you at least renovate it? Han Fei took a deep breath. Since he was already here, he should at least go and ask. Han Fei knocked on the doorpost of the gate and shouted, Is anyone here? Duang, Han Fei quickly dodged, only to see the sign that had been hanging down fell to the ground, raising a cloud of smoke and dust. The village leader immediately said angrily, This school is not decent. Han Fei, let's go read too. Chapter 141. Han Fei hurriedly said, Wait, leader, wait a minute. Let me have a look. Han Fei shouted, Is anyone there? Is anyone there? Is anyone? Shut up. Do you want me to sleep? Han Fei looked in the direction of the voice, only to see that 300 meters away, under a big tree, an old man with gray and messy hair was lying on a recliner, sleeping. The corner of Han Fei's mouth twitched. This look is as good as old Zhang's. Han Fei walked over and was about to ask. The old man said with his eyes half open, Boy, you broke the plaque of our school. You have to pay for it. 100 mid-quality pearls. Han Fei staggered. What the hell? A piece of wood costs 100 mid-quality pearls. Robbers can't pay as much as you. The old man's voice suddenly became dignified. What? You don't want to pay? Han Fei was helpless. Of course, of course. But sir, I'm here to study. May I know where the teachers and students of this school are? Study? The old man's narrowed eyes suddenly opened, looked at Han Fei up and down, and then said casually, Study? Do you have any past achievements? Huh? The old man said impatiently, I'm asking you what achievements have you made? Thinking of the village leader's words, Han Fei quickly said, I usually keep a low profile and don't do anything big. The old man waved his hand. Then you can go. Our school doesn't recruit low-key people. What? The village leader came up and was about to pull Han Fei away. Han Fei, let's go, let's go. I can't stay here any longer. Han Fei said, Leader, don't worry. Han Fei looked back. It's impossible for me to keep a low profile. I've done a lot of things. I beat the good-for-nothings of the 8 villages and kicked the North Sea. Is that enough? Go away, go away. Our school doesn't recruit bragging students. Han Fei scratched his belly. Cough, I was just joking. When I was in the Heavenly Water Village, I killed the tigers, the largest gang in the Heavenly Water Village. I won first place in the fishing trial in the Heavenly Water Village. In the resource competition, I was invincible in the 8 villages. Does that count? The old man glanced at Han Fei. Go away, our school doesn't recruit bragging students. Han Fei was speechless. I'm not bragging. I'm telling the truth. You can ask around and see if I beat the students from the 8 villages in the 3 academies of the Blue Sea Town. In the final battle against the Heavenly Heart Village, I fought 1 against 2. Did I say that? That's not even worth me saying, it's so easy. The more the village chief heard, the darker his face became. He couldn't take it anymore, and hurriedly left to wait for the brat outside. However, the old man moved his head slightly. You beat the 8 villages? Han Fei patted his belly. Of course, this is just one of my combat skills. The old man said, let me have a look at your spiritual beast. Han Fei paused for a moment. Sir, do you want me to summon my contractual spiritual beast? 9 tails, come out and show me. With a flash of light, a huge mantis shrimp appeared with its 7 tails wagging. The old man's eyes moved slightly, but Han Fei didn't notice it because the 9-tailed mantis shrimp was already hitting the ground. Han Fei rushed up and kicked him. Be serious. If you move again, I'll skin you alive. Han Fei looked back again. Hey! Do you think I'm okay? The old man snorted. Barely. What about your spiritual beast? Let me have a look. Han Fei hesitated. Well. Okay, Han Fei felt that if he was destined to study here, he would have to show his spiritual beast sooner or later. So with a flash between Han Fei's eyebrows, Little Black and Little White appeared. Han Fei believed that the old man couldn't see Little Black. As for Little White, except for a black spot on its head, a longer tail than other spirit-swallowing fish, and better scales, it seemed to be no different from other spirit-swallowing fish. Spirit-swallowing fish? The old man suddenly lost interest and waved his hand. All the students recruited by our school have exotic spiritual beasts. Han Fei was speechless. Can't my 9-tailed mantis shrimp? After all, it's not a spiritual beast. But it's not bad. Well, if you have the ability to do something big in the Blue Sea Town, we'll consider it. Han Fei frowned. This old man's status is not low. After thinking for a while, Han Fei looked at the school and took a breath. Do you mean what you say? Can I see the students and teachers in the school? The old man said impatiently, I don't know. Are you going or not? If you don't, get out of here. Han Fei was so angry. This old man was too much. He couldn't wait to have the 9-tailed mantis shrimp pounce on him. Han Fei snorted. Okay. Then it's a deal. I'm going to do something big. Just wait for my news. Han Fei turned around and strode away. The village leader hurriedly said, Now do you believe me? What kind of school is this? God knows why the town hasn't razed this school to the ground. Han Fei frowned. Yes. If this school is really as shabby as it looks, then why hasn't the Blue Sea Town razed it to the ground? After all, this floating island is also very large. It's even larger than the Heavenly Water Village. Han Fei rolled his eyes. Grandpa Leader, why don't you go back to the village first? I still have some other things to do. If I can't do it, I'll go back by myself. The village leader narrowed his eyes. What other things can you do? You don't know anyone in the Blue Sea Town. Leader, have you forgotten that He Xiaoyu and the others are all here? I'm familiar with them. With that, Han Fei gave old Jiang's letter to the village leader. I have to send a letter to old Jiang. The village leader asked suspiciously, where? Han Fei grinned. To the 3rd Academy. The village leader smiled and touched his beard. You're worth teaching. You don't have to go to the 4th academy, but you can go to the 3rd academy. It's said that the strongest of the 3 academies is from the 3rd academy. It's not bad for you to go there. The village leader took it for granted that old Jiang had found a backdoor for Han Fei, but this backdoor was good and he supported it. The village leader was relieved. Okay, you can go there by yourself. I'll go back first. Okay. Han Fei deliberately sent the village leader to the port. After parting, he immediately inquired about the location of the 3rd academy and ran there quickly. The original name of the 3rd academy was the Waterfall Academy. Han Fei stood at the gate of the academy and said to the guard, "I'm looking for someone." The guard looked at Han Fei, who looked like an eyeball, and was disgusted. "Hey! You're not a student of this school. Who are you looking for?" Han Fei replied, "I'm looking for Yi Nanfei, a teacher of the fighting department of your school." The guard was taken aback and looked at Han Fei up and down. "Who are you?" "You're looking for Mr. Yi. If you want to know Mr. Yi, go to his home." Han Fei replied, "I don't know where his home is." The guard smiled. "You don't even know where his home is? Why are you looking for him?" Han Fei replied, "I want to challenge him." "Pooh!" The guard almost slipped and immediately yelled at Han Fei, "Are you a psycho? Get out of here. Did you hit your head on an iron-head fish?" Han Fei was kicked out, which attracted a lot of attention. Han Fei snorted and turned around to leave. 10 minutes later, Han Fei came back. He was holding a purple bamboo rod in his hand, a black iron rod on his back, 2 knives on his waist, and a wooden sign beside him, on which was written, "No one in the 3rd academy can fight. I'm Han Fei and I want to challenge Yi Nanfei of the fighting department." Hiss! The guard hurriedly rushed out, pointed at Han Fei and shouted, "Brat, do you want to die? What are you doing here?" Han Fei blinked and said, "Didn't you say you wouldn't let me in? I'm here to challenge you." The guard immediately shouted angrily, "Get out of here. Is this a place where you can stay?" Han Fei smiled. "Am I occupying your land? This is not the 3rd academy. Why can't you stop me? Or you can ask Yi Nanfei to come out." But at this time, a large number of students had gathered around. When they saw the words written on Han Fei's sign, they were immediately angry. He was here to challenge the 3rd academy. "Fatty, you're really arrogant. Which school are you from?" Han Fei replied, "I'm not from any school. I'm from the Heavenly Water Village." The students were stunned and then burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha! How dare a boy from the countryside speak so arrogantly? Who the fuck do you think you are? Fatty, did you hit your head on an iron-head fish? Yi Nanfei. How dare you challenge a teacher of our fighting department? Did your head get clamped by a ghost blade clam?" Han Fei suddenly shouted, "No one in the 3rd academy can fight. Come and fight me, read 2. Chapter 142. Hearing Han Fei's roar, all the students around him frowned. Someone immediately shouted, "Fatty, you're too arrogant. Let me teach you a lesson." Han Fei glanced at him. "You're too weak. Fuck you. Watch my stick." The boy came up to him without saying a word, and the onlookers were happy to see this scene. Someone sneered, "You deserve to be beaten." Bam! The young man who had raised the rod was sent flying, crashing into several people. Han Fei continued to stab the purple bamboo rod on the ground. "I told you, you're too weak. Is everyone in the 3rd academy like you? Is there no one who can beat you? Fatty, don't be arrogant. I'll fight you. Han Fei, come on, let's fight one-on-one. Bastard, I'm going to cut you into pieces." Han Fei felt his ears were in a mess and he looked at the group of people in front of him contemptuously. "I'll give you a chance to challenge me. Come at me together." "Fuck. I'll fight you one-on-one." A man stabbed at Han Fei with a long spear. The tip of the spear shone with spiritual energy. Han Fei tilted his body slightly and swept the purple bamboo rod in his hand. The attacker was sent flying backward at a speed faster than when he came. Everyone felt something was wrong. This fatty seemed to be a bit tricky. Boy, you're not bad, but you're too arrogant. I'll teach you a lesson today. Let me. I'll fight you first. Go away. I'll fight you. Although they said they would fight him first, they actually attacked Han Fei at the same time. Bam! 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 At the gate of the Waterfall Academy, more than a dozen people had been sent flying out in a few seconds. There were still many students surrounding Han Fei and they were about to fight. Suddenly, they heard a shout behind them. What's going on? What a mess. Damn, it's Wang Ming of the fighting department. This time Han Fei is doomed. Wang Ming has already become an advanced fishing master. It's easy for him to beat this fatty. Han Fei shook his head when he saw Wang Ming. You're no match for me. Call Yi Nanfei out. Wang Ming was stunned, and then when he saw the words written on Han Fei's wooden sign, he was furious. You've gone too far. Which school are you from? The Blue Sea Academy or the Peerless Academy? I haven't enrolled yet. I'm from the Heavenly Water Village. Wang Ming was stunned again. From the village? Were the villagers so arrogant now? Wang Ming sneered, I will challenge you. Han Fei said flatly, I told you, you are no match for me. Wang Ming was furious. Whether it's true or not, we won't know until we fight. Someone next to him shouted, Fatty, who do you think you are? If you can block Wang Ming's axe, I'll consider you formidable. Someone sneered, can he take a blow from the axe? Don't chop him in half with the axe, right? Wang Ming used axes, and 2 axes at that. At this moment, he directly jumped into the air, and a cold light broke through the air from the axes. Just as Wang Ming was about to display an explosive combat skill, he was shocked to find that Han Fei's figure had suddenly appeared in front of him. Bang! Pft! With a flash of spiritual energy on Han Fei's purple bamboo rod, Wang Ming flew out and spat out a mouthful of blood. At this time, Han Fei didn't talk nonsense anymore. He immediately exerted the power of a great fishing master, and spiritual energy surged in his body, forcing the people around him to step back. What, a great fishing master? How is it possible? How old is this fatty? How can he be a great fishing master? He just said that he hasn't entered the school yet. Is he crazy? How can a guy from the countryside be so strong? Go and report it to the teachers. This time, although there were still people watching, they all stayed far away from Han Fei. The area within 5 meters of Han Fei was empty. Not only the Third Academy was shocked, but the outside world was also shocked. A passerby was surprised. Have you heard? A boy from the countryside blocked the gate and challenged the Third Academy, saying that no one in the Third Academy was good at fighting. Are you serious? It can't be. Why not? They have already started fighting. Then I'll go and have a look. After 10 minutes or so, dozens of people came to the gate. The leader was Yi Nanfei, who Han Fei knew. In addition to Yi Nanfei, there were a few older people who should be teachers and were all great fishing masters. In addition to these teachers, Han Fei also saw a few students. Han Fei looked at them and found that these students were also great fishing masters. Wow, it seems that there are indeed a lot of great fishing masters among the students. Han Fei, suddenly, Han Fei saw a figure rushing over. Wasn't this Jia Tong? Jia Tong didn't believe it when he first heard it. Then he saw Han Fei. Fuck. Why are you blocking the gate of the Third Academy? Han Fei was surprised. Are you studying here? Jia Tong nodded. Not just me. Qin Qing is also here. I guess he is also coming here. I didn't believe it when I heard your name. What are you doing here? Han Fei smiled. Challenge. The person I am waiting for is here. Yi Nanfei had already walked a few meters in front of Han Fei. Little fatty, it turns out to be you. Ha! You've lost weight. Han Fei raised his head. I am thin. In the future, you and your students will use me to sharpen your knives. Today, I come to challenge you. Do you dare to accept the challenge? Han Fei looked behind Yi Nanfei and found that the boy with a sword and the boy with a bow were also here. He immediately smiled. It seems that I came at the right time. The boy with a sword said unwillingly, that day, the 5 of us fought you. Today, I challenge you alone. Han Fei sneered. Do you think you are confident now that you have broken through to the peak? If you are not a great fishing master, you are no match for me now. The boy with a sword scoffed. Arrogant. Han Fei said lazily, if you want to fight, call the 5 of you here. Today, I will defeat you again. The boy with a sword was about to speak but was stopped by Yi Nanfei. He said bluntly, okay, Han Fei, I accept your challenge. Come on. As soon as Yi Nanfei finished speaking, a female teacher next to him said, Mr. Yi, are you sure you want to accept the challenge of a boy? In the view of this female teacher, this was unwise. Since Han Fei dared to come, he must have some strength. They had all heard that Han Fei defeated the 5 of them. Now this boy came to challenge them. If he didn't have a bit of confidence, he wouldn't have come. The point was that this teacher knew very well that it was not strange for a student to defeat a teacher. Which school didn't have a group of students who could defeat a teacher? Han Fei ignored her and looked around. Here. Yi Nanfei nodded. Yes. Okay, as you wish. Yi Nanfei said to the surrounding people, everyone, retreat 20 meters away. Han Fei carried his rod. Then, the challenge begins. With that, Han Fei stepped out in an instant, leaving a deep footprint on the ground. Yi Nanfei suddenly pulled out the long rod in his hand and stabbed it out. In an instant, dozens of rod shadows appeared, like the tip of a spear. The purple bamboo rod in Han Fei's hand was full of spiritual energy. He drew a circle in the air and immediately a big circle of spiritual energy appeared, blocking the dozens of afterimages. Han Fei took the opportunity to attack with his rod. His speed was as fast as lightning and his strength was extremely violent. Although he didn't use any spiritual energy, each strike had the effect of a spiritual energy explosion. Fuse. Yi Nanfei looked solemn. The boy in front of him was too strong. Although he had just become an intermediate great fishing master, he still couldn't resist Han Fei's fierce strength. It's an exotic red-browed shrimp. A student not far away shouted, very excited. Han Fei sneered. So what? Seeing the shrimp's 2 tentacles sweeping across, Han Fei stepped into the air, took 2 steps back, grabbed the purple bamboo rod in his hand, and shot it out like a bow. Bim, the huge force made the surrounding students retreat. However, Han Fei tapped the ground with his tiptoes and drew out the 2 knives in his hands. Clang, 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 seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. Fast, too fast. How in the world did he practice this blade technique? The sword-bearing boy turned pale. Has this guy become so strong? He's so strong that he can beat Mr. Yi in combat skills. Yi Nanfei was also shocked. His shadow whip combat skill was completely suppressed, and his spiritual beast's talent ability was also blocked. Spinning blade, the 2 knives in Han Fei's hands were thrown out and appeared behind Yi Nanfei in the blink of an eye. Spiritual energy protective cover. Yi Nanfei's body was immediately covered with spiritual energy, and at the same time, the long rod in his hand swept back, while Han Fei grabbed his purple bamboo rod in the air. Spiral strike. The long rod spun and went straight to Yi Nanfei's chest. However, Yi Nanfei had just knocked Han Fei's rod and 2 knives away, and this fierce rod came at him again. Bam! Yi Nanfei was directly shaken dozens of meters away. The next second, before he could react, Han Fei had put the 2 knives on his neck. In everyone's shocked eyes, Han Fei withdrew the two knives, picked up the purple bamboo rod, stepped on the wooden sign, and turned to leave. Wait, Yi Nanfei shouted. Yi Nanfei asked, Han Fei, how about coming to the Third Academy? Han Fei continued to leave without looking back. No, I have a choice. The crowd automatically made way for him. When Han Fei disappeared in the crowd, Yi Nanfei vomited a mouthful of blood. Read 2. Chapter 143. Many people nearby were shocked. Han Fei defeated Yi Nanfei, a teacher of the fighting department of the Third Academy, and then left. Then someone found that Han Fei was heading for the Fourth Academy. At this moment, Yi Nanfei was healing himself with the help of a female teacher next to him. The female teacher asked, "Is that boy so powerful?" Yi Nanfei rubbed his chest. Very powerful. He was too fast and his moves were too neat. From the moment I attacked, I was at a disadvantage. Top 100 heavenly talents. Yi Nanfei replied, maybe more. Wow, the female teacher couldn't help asking, shall we chase him back? Yi Nanfei shook his head and smiled bitterly. No, this boy is very stubborn and knows what he is doing. At this moment, Yi Nanfei looked at his students, especially the sword-using boy, who was a little depressed. Yi Nanfei asked, do you know why I didn't let you fight him? You can't fail again. He is no longer a whetstone. If I let him defeat the 5 of you, it will seriously damage your confidence and become a demon in your heart in the future. The sword-using boy looked up. Teacher, will he really become a top 100 powerhouse? Yi Nanfei was a little stunned. I don't know. But you know, this is the first time he has come to the Blue Sea town. Hearing this, everyone around Yi Nanfei was shocked. It was the first time he came to the Blue Sea town and he had already done such a big thing. After a while, someone came to report, Mr. Yi, do you know where Han Fei went? He ran in the direction of the Fourth Academy. Huh? The Fourth Academy? The sword-using boy asked, Teacher, isn't the Fourth Academy a run-down school with no students and teachers? What is he doing there? Yi Nanfei was silent for a moment. Once, the Fourth Academy also had its glory days. At that time, that school was the top school in the Blue Sea town. A team swept the surrounding 36 towns, fought against the Thousand-Star City, and defeated countless heavenly talents. It used to be a legend. Unfortunately, it declined. The Fourth Academy was too arrogant and eventually led to a large number of heavenly talents being hunted down. In the end, some left, some fled, and some scattered. Wow, it was the first time for the students to hear about the glorious achievements of the Fourth Academy. Sweeping the 36 towns and defeating the Thousand-Star City. Was this a joke? The Fourth Academy. A strong man with a big beard came back with a bamboo building. When he saw the plaque on the ground, he was speechless. Lao Bai, the plaque fell. The old man said lazily, if it falls, then so be it. It was going to fall anyway. The bearded man shook his head, picked up the sign, wiped it with his sleeve, and put it aside. Then he showed off to the old man. Old Bai, let me tell you, I sold a bull conch today and made 100 mid-quality pearls. The old man scoffed. That's nothing. I earned 100 mid-quality pearls just by lying down. Suddenly, the old man opened his eyes and sat up abruptly. Ah! That kid didn't pay. The bearded man was taken aback. Which kid? Oh, by the way, it said that a guy from the countryside blocked the gate of the Third Academy today, shouting that no one in the Third Academy could fight. The old man was not surprised at all. That's right. There's no one in that stupid school who can fight. The bearded man smiled bitterly. Alright, no matter how broken it is, can it be as broken as ours? However, she still lost to this brat. Yi Nanfei, the teacher of the fighting department of the Third Academy, seemed to have been defeated by him in less than 10 minutes. TSK TSK. It's a pity that this kid is a soul warrior. If he isn't, I can consider it. Just as Big Beardy was speaking, he saw a meatball youth carrying a huge bag. The bag was several times bigger than him as he walked in. Seeing the old man, Han Fei waved at him. Sir, I'm back. Do you think what I've done is big enough? The bearded man was stunned. Who is this kid? The old man raised his eyebrows. I don't know. He said he wanted to study in our academy. It was he who dropped the sign. He still owes us 100 mid-quality pearls. The bearded man. Han Fei dragged the big bag over and was surprised when he saw the bearded man. Ha! I seem to have seen you in the market at the port. You are the one selling bull conches. The bearded man scratched his head. Have I? Han Fei immediately came back to his senses and said to the old man, Sir, what do you think of me? Today I beat the 3rd academy and was invincible. Am I handsome? Am I qualified to join the 4th academy now? The bearded man was shocked. It's you. Are you the Han Fei who shouted at the gate of the 3rd academy? Han Fei paused and scratched his belly. Did you see it? The bearded man shook his head. No, I heard it. Are you coming to our 4th academy? Han Fei nodded. Yes. Look, I've brought everything. I brought pots, quilts, bowls. Low-level spiritual fruits. Fresh ingredients. Is there a kitchen here? I'll put them in the kitchen. The old man was stunned and hurriedly stopped Han Fei. Hey, boy, when did I say you passed the assessment? Han Fei stared at the old man. Didn't you ask me to do something big? The old man scoffed. Did I say it was an assessment? Besides, you just defeated a teacher. Don't boast that you defeated the 3rd academy. Are you ashamed? Han Fei. The old man sneered. Okay. But your style of doing things is not bad. It's a bit like our academy, but the tuition fee of our academy is too expensive. I'll charge you this much. The old man raised 2 of his fingers, looking very pleased with himself. Han Fei was stunned. 2,000 mid-quality pearls. It's a bit expensive, but it doesn't matter. I have. The old man, the bearded man, the old man thought to himself, I want to say 200. Aren't you from the countryside? Why do you have so much money? Han Fei took out another bag from the big bag, which was heavy with mid-quality pearls. The old man and the bearded man's faces turned green. Is this a rich man? Han Fei was still hesitating. It was a pity that Forge the Universe couldn't be displayed casually. Otherwise, he wouldn't have to go through so much trouble to get such a big bag. The bearded man blinked at the old man, and the old man winked back as if asking what he meant. Cough, cough. Well, boy, since you are so sincere, I've prepared the tuition fee. Then I'll give you a formal assessment, but the assessment fee. I'll charge you this much. The old man raised another finger, which made the bearded man furious. The bearded man thought to himself, hurry up and accept this rich man. Why the fuck do you still want to take the assessment? Han Fei was speechless and scratched his belly. Is the assessment also charged? Well. Okay. If the assessment is charged, does accommodation and food also have to be charged? Forget it, I have 5,000 mid-quality pearls here. Keep the change. Cough, cough, the old man didn't sleep well and almost overturned the chair. The old man stood up and said to Han Fei, although our academy is recruiting spirit gatherers, not war souls, before the old man finished speaking, his eyes widened. Han Fei's hands flashed with spiritual energy and he stepped on the ground. A spirit gathering array made of spiritual energy appeared on the ground. For a time, spiritual energy gathered from all directions. Han Fei shrugged. Spirit gatherers? That's great. The old man quickly looked up at the sky. Well. Xiaozhan, what are you waiting for? Why aren't you going to find those little bastards for me? As the old man said, he carried 5,000 mid-quality pearls to his chair and then said to Han Fei seriously, I'll let you meet your classmates. Your assessment is to hold on for 10 minutes. Forget it, just hold on for 5 minutes. Han Fei's face changed greatly. Are the students of the 4th Academy so powerful? I'm an invincible figure of the 3rd Academy, but I'm only worth 5 minutes. Are you looking down on me? Just wait, I can definitely hold on for 30 minutes. In less than 10 minutes, Han Fei saw 5 people running over from a distance. One was the bearded man who had just left, and Han Fei's eyes lit up. Wow, what a cute and beautiful little girl. Han Fei's eyes almost popped out. Although there was a soul in his 30s hidden in his heart, it was normal for an uncle to love a little girl. Han Fei's eyes almost popped out. The little girl, with a ponytail, white teeth, red lips, clear eyes, and slightly thin cheeks, which didn't look weak but full of heroic spirit. The 2 daggers hanging from her waist highlighted her identity as a hunter. At such a young age, she was so beautiful. Han Fei almost drooled. Hey, fatty, what are you looking at? Ah. What? Ah, hello, little sister. Han Fei quickly came back to his senses. When did he become so uncalm? How could he be so evil? How could he have such evil thoughts about a little girl? Oh, here comes another fatty, fatter than me. Ha ha ha, I'm not the only fatty in the school now. Han Fei glanced to the side and saw a fatty much thinner than him, looking at him excitedly. Han Fei's face immediately changed. Student, let me tell you, I'm not fat. I'm just not thin enough, read too. Chapter 144. On the other side, a boy holding a stick whispered, I bet this fatty must have fallen in love with Xia Xiaochan. I know it from his eyes. However, I admire his courage. The little girl glared at the boy who spoke, and the boy immediately shut up and looked up at the sky. And Han Fei also looked at the boy, and the first word that flashed in his heart was jealousy. This person is a bit too handsome. But Han Fei immediately continued to look at the little girl, trying to show his elegant side. Xia Xiaochan, good name. The cicada chirps in summer, but hibernates for several seasons, the epiphyllum blossoms, but waits for the whole day. Xia Xiaochan narrowed her eyes. You know cicada? Oh. I'm so cute. Han Fei immediately grinned. The little girl's voice was really nice. Huh? Why is there an iceberg-like little beauty next to her? Although she is also good-looking, she is obviously not as smart as Xia Xiaochan. After a pause, Han Fei hurriedly said, I read about cicada from an ancient book. I've heard of this creature. Okay. Did I ask you to chat? Han Fei, right? You only need to hold on for 3 minutes in front of them and you will pass. But I have to remind you that if you can't even hold on for 3 minutes, I won't refund your tuition fee. The sloppy old man turned into a proud little old man at this moment and seemed to be very confident in these boys. At this time, the silent iceberg-like beauty said, Luo Xiaobai, manipulator, junior great fishing master, exotic spiritual plant, blue cannibal flower. Nice to meet you. The fatty who was much thinner than Han Fei chuckled. Brother, my name is Lurin Kuang, junior great fishing master, and I am an armorist. My spiritual beast is an exotic spiritual clam. You must hold on for 3 minutes. Then you will definitely become a good brother to me. Han Fei despised him in his heart. Why the fuck would I be a good brother to you? As for the handsome boy, he said lazily, Zhang Xuanyu, a peak-level fishing master, a soul warrior, and his spiritual beast is an exotic bloodthirsty shark. Brother, I think you are a local tycoon. I like to make friends with local tycoons. Come on. A cunning gleam flashed in Xia Xiaochan's eyes. Xia Xiaochan, also a junior great fishing master, professional hunter. Exotic spiritual beast, shadow shrimp. Oh, by the way, I have a second exotic spiritual beast, the giant arowana. Besides, I don't like fatties. Han Fei paused and was dumbfounded. Is a great fishing master so worthless? There was only one peak-level fishing master, and the others were all junior great fishing masters. What a group of monsters. The most important thing was not their level. Each of them was an exotic spiritual beast, and it sounded like they were all fucking powerful. What was even more terrifying was that the little lowly actually had 2 exotic spiritual beasts. He had never heard of anyone having 2 exotic spiritual beasts. In this shabby academy, there were really crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Han Fei immediately took a breath. Han Fei, a junior great fishing master, a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior. As for his spiritual beast, spirit swallowing fish. They immediately looked at Han Fei strangely. What the hell? Spirit swallowing fish? The bearded man looked at Han Fei with interest. Interesting, a guy whose spiritual beast was only a spirit-swallowing fish was a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior at the same time. And to be able to become a great fishing master in the village at such a young age, this kind of talent was very outstanding. The bearded man asked, Han Fei, are you ready? 5 minutes, are you ready? Han Fei took a deep breath. Although the 4 students in front of him looked harmless, they were all masters of the 5 professions, all had exotic spiritual beasts, and almost all were junior great fishing masters. He had to take them seriously. Wow! I'm ready, the bearded man suddenly shouted, start. The 4 people on the opposite side shouted at the same time, fuse. Han Fei immediately went all out and used fury. At the same time, he whispered, attach. After fighting with Jiang Qin for half a year, Han Fei deeply understood one thing. A soul warrior should march forward bravely. No matter what kind of enemy there was in front of him, he should not be weak. Han Fei was very powerful. In the blink of an eye, he raised his rod and smashed it at Zhang Xuanyu, who was also attacking him. But at this moment, a fat man suddenly appeared with a huge shield in his hand. Clang! The force behind this blow was not to be underestimated. Dust flew within dozens of meters, but neither the fat man nor Han Fei moved. Han Fei was stunned. His enemy was not this fat man. Behind the fat man, a figure jumped up. 3 layered waves in furious sea. Clang, 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 in an instant, Han Fei seemed to feel a surging tide. In an instant, Han Fei was knocked back 7 or 8 steps. Of course, this was not the end. Han Fei heard the sound of wind breaking behind him. The momentum of breaking the sound barrier made him feel that the opponent seemed to be able to break his defense. In an instant, Han Fei inserted the purple bamboo rod into the ground and lay forward in a strange posture. The rod was directly bent and bounced at the blade coming from behind. Clang! Feeling that the person behind him retreated, Han Fei felt that his feet were entangled by vines again before he could breathe a sigh of relief. Before he had time to look down, Han Fei waved his double knives and chopped the vines, while the 7 tails behind him swept across and continued to break the other vines entangling him. Zhang Xuanyu said, not bad. Come on, take my 7 layered waves in furious sea. The rod was played like a flower in Zhang Xuanyu's hand. It was extremely gorgeous and the tides were undulating. It seemed that waves were really hitting his face. Han Fei seemed to see the phantom of huge waves pouncing at him, layer by layer, surging violently. For a time, Han Fei was surrounded by enemies in front of him, on his sides, and behind him. Blade storm. Han Fei instantly covered his body with a spiritual energy protective cover and his whole body spun like a top, flashing horrifying blades from all angles. Clang, 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 bam, bam, bam. For a time, vines flew and knife shadows clashed. On the side, the bearded man pulled the old man and said, "You're already very strong. 5 minutes is too long. It's only 2 minutes. Han Fei was shocked. He thought he was invincible in the same level as him, but who knew that as soon as he came here, he would directly encounter 4 monsters. You're telling me this is a battle fought by a few junior great fishing masters? This was simply a battle between peak-level great fishing masters. Han Fei twisted and turned, constantly making strange postures, trying to break through the encirclement of the 4. But just when he was about to break out, the simple and honest fatty suddenly patted his armor box and launched a shield wall impact. Han Fei only saw dozens of giant shield phantoms suddenly appear in front of him and slam at him. Han Fei took a deep breath and suddenly an array appeared under his feet. A rotating waterspout emerged in the air and directly rolled himself into the sky. Then, the waterspout turned into a water-shaped vine and pulled him to the side. Han Fei's face changed. He had used at least 10 combat skills in just 1 minute of the battle. If he was careless, he would be hit. Han Fei felt that he might be able to hold on for a few minutes, but 30 minutes seemed a bit difficult, unless, shadow follower. Han Fei had just landed for a moment. Although an idea flashed in his mind, before he had time to act, he saw Xia Shaochan turn into a series of afterimages, extremely fast, and the dagger in her hand stabbed at him from a strange and tricky angle. What was a hunter? Before, Han Fei felt that Fang Qing, whom he met in the resource competition, couldn't be regarded as a hunter at all. Compared with Xia Shaochan, she was simply trash. Scar of War Shadows. Han Fei's body suddenly overflowed with spiritual energy and he rushed in the direction of the 4 people like a madman. Clank, clank, bam, what great strength. When Han Fei stopped, he had already appeared 10 meters away. And Zhang Xuanyu, the weakest soul warrior, was directly knocked flying. Lu Renkuang muttered, his defense power is extremely strong. Let me. Violent war body. Han Fei saw that the fatty was charging at him, and he was using a combat skill similar to Scar of War Shadows. How could Han Fei be afraid? You just laughed at me for being fatter. Now I'll show you the difference between a big fatty and a little fatty. Han Fei immediately ran over, and like a missile explosion, the area within a radius of more than 20 meters was directly detonated. Under the huge impact of the airflow, the school gate was completely shattered, and the old man's recliner under the tree also fell apart, leaving a big pit in the place of impact. Lu Renkuang was knocked flying, and for the first time, Han Fei felt what it felt like to have his internal organs tumbling. Was it because his fake innate strength had met the real innate strength? Thorns, strangle, Han Fei was speechless. Is there no end to this? Are these people all so cooperative? Han Fei only saw that within a radius of 4 or 5 meters under his feet, countless vines emerged, and the 7 tails couldn't cut them off at once. Xia Shaochan shouted, shadow puncture. Zhang Xuanyu shouted, crazy shark, read 2. Chapter 145. Fuse. Han Fei finally said these 2 words. He had underestimated the geniuses in this world. He thought that he could be invincible among his peers, but now it seemed that if he fought with these 4 people, he would definitely be defeated. Although the result of a life-and-death battle was unknown, this was too shocking. The smoke and dust dispersed. Zhang Xuanyu flew back dozens of meters, covering his chest with one hand. Luo Xiaobai's face was slightly pale, and the vines in front of her were scattered. Only Xia Shaochan almost completely turned into a shadow, holding 2 daggers in her hands and slashing at Han Fei's double knives. At this time, there was no cute little loli at all. She was simply a tough female Tyrannosaurus. Han Fei's eyes were black and white, and his attacks were extremely fast. Every time Xia Shaochan moved, every attack, and every angle, Han Fei could block her attacks in an incredible angle. For a moment, there was a lot of clanking sounds in the big pit. Why did you call me little sister? Little sister is not something you can call me. You have a bad eye. How dare you hit me? I'll kill you, Xia Shaochan muttered, muttering every 5 or 6 times, but Han Fei was expressionless. Han Fei, on the other hand, was expressionless. The gentle expression on his face was now wild and cruel. Taking advantage of the gap between attacks, Han Fei grinned, revealing 2 rows of big white teeth, as if he was considering where to bite. Xia Shaochan suddenly disappeared. Han Fei looked down and found that there was a shadow on the ground. Almost in the blink of an eye, he felt that his legs, lower abdomen, and back were slashed more than 10 times. Bam! Han Fei gathered all the spiritual energy in his body and suddenly exploded with himself as the center. But the shadow appeared more than 10 meters away and turned into a human form again. Xia Shaochan raised her double knives again, flashed, and rushed at Han Fei again. Suppress, the bearded man suddenly appeared between the two of them. He threw Xia Shaochan away with one hand and slapped Han Fei's spiritual beast fusion with the other. After losing the fusion, Han Fei sat on the ground and gasped for breath. Han Fei swallowed. You. Are you trying to kill me? Han Fei couldn't catch his breath. Especially in the end, the perfect image of the little loli was completely ruined. Is that a little loli? Are you kidding me? Even the iron-head fish is no match for her. What Han Fei didn't know was that not only the 4 students, but also the bearded man and the old man were looking at him up and down with great interest. Lu Renkuang was also gasping. Brother, you passed the assessment. Although Lu Renkuang was pale, he still rushed over and seemed to want to hug Han Fei. Han Fei remembered that the fat man was the strongest just now. That impact made her internal organs tumble. She didn't want to hug him. Han Fei quickly waved his hand. Don't come over, I warn you, don't come over. Yang Fei, I don. Lu Renkuang complained, you are a fatty yourself. Fei Lu. Han Fei was sullen. Nonsense, I used to be thin, very thin, thin and handsome. Han Fei. Yang Li Fei was, he, I, Yang, Li, Li, Fei, Fei, I Fei, and of. Han Fei wondered, what kind of guests? Zhang Xuanyu blinked. To eat. Lu Renkuang nodded. Of course. The new classmate is going to treat us to a meal. After the fight just now, I feel that I have lost weight. Han Fei breathed a sigh of relief. Well. I brought a pot. I know how to cook. Lu Renkuang was shocked. You can cook too. Me too. Lu Renkuang immediately pointed at the crowd. Look. I told you that fat people can cook. Only you thin people can enjoy the fruits of others. Luo Xiaobai snorted, ignored Lu Renkuang, and looked at Han Fei. Hello, new classmate. Han Fei rolled his eyes. I'm not good. My internal organs are tumbling. Xia Shaochan quietly appeared behind Han Fei. Do you want me to rub it for you? Han Fei shivered and broke out in a cold sweat. He quickly got up and ran to Lu Renkuang. Xia Shaochan, I warn you, don't come over. I don't hit girls. Just rub it. Looking at Xia Shaochan's resentful face, Han Fei got goosebumps all over. It would have been fine if they hadn't started fighting, but after this battle, it was clear that she was a killer of appearances. Among the few of them, she was the most terrifying. She could even turn into a shadow. Even Newton couldn't do anything to her. Yo! You have all 5 professions. Han Fei looked up, only to see a middle-aged beautiful woman jump down from the top of the tree and look at Han Fei up and down. The beautiful woman said, gee, an exotic contractual spiritual beast that even we have never heard of, and that spirit-swallowing fish is also an exotic spiritual beast. She is a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior, and her defense power is comparable to that of the little fatty. Her combat power is a little stronger than Zhang Xuanyu, and her speed can keep up with Xiaochan. Old Bai, where did you find this little monster? The old man didn't seem to expect that a guy who came to him would be so strong, which was completely beyond his expectation. But the old man said coldly, she came to me on her own. The bearded man laughed. Good, good, our academy finally recruited 5 people. Congratulations. I think we can go to a restaurant tonight. The old man's face suddenly changed and he glared at the big man. Do you have a lot of money? You want to go to a restaurant? With that, the old man looked at the destroyed environment around and said to Han Fei, the school has been destroyed by you. Forget it, I won't ask you to pay for it. You are already a student of our thug academy. Han Fei looked around. It was already shabby enough, but it wasn't that shabby now. The bearded man said helplessly, forget it, then I'll do it myself. Han Fei, let me introduce to you. This is Dean Bai of our Thug Academy. You can call him Old Bai. I am your instructor, Xiao Zhan, a soul warrior and armorist. My spiritual beast is 8-armed conch. This is instructor Wenren Yu, a manipulator and an exotic spiritual plant, sword grass branch. Hello, President. Hello, Mr. Xiao. Hello, Ms. Wenren. Han Fei scratched his belly. Mr. Xiao, where is our dormitory? Cough, cough, Lu Renquang patted Han Fei on the shoulder. Dormitory? We don't have a dormitory. Han Fei? Han Fei wondered, then where do we live? Lu Renquang said casually, anywhere. Such a large area, even the mountain behind it is ours. We can live wherever we want. Zhang Xuanyu also came over and patted Han Fei on the shoulder. You know, our school only has this archway and a library building left. Boom. As soon as Zhang Xuanyu's voice fell, the archway collapsed. Han Fei, Zhang Xuanyu, everyone was silent for a long time. Han Fei thought for a long time. He didn't want to live like a savage in the next few years. Han Fei asked, why don't you build some houses? Lu Renquang looked at him as if he were a fool. Building houses costs money. Zhang Xuanyu nodded. How can we have money? Han Fei was helpless. I just paid 5,000 mid-quality pearls as a tuition fee. What? Lu Renquang's eyes widened, and Zhang Xuanyu looked at Han Fei as if looking at a mid-quality pearl. Xia Xiaochan cried out with a, wow, and even Luo Xiaobai, who was the coldest, showed a shocked look. Everyone looked at the old man, thinking that this old man was too cruel. 5,000 mid-quality pearls as a tuition fee. How did he do it? Old Bai thought to himself, I didn't ask for it. He gave it to me, okay. Cough, cough. I've decided to take out 3,000 to build the school. 3,000 is enough. We can find someone to renovate our school. Han Fei's eyes flickered. This old man is not simple. He's definitely the same as old Jiang, a cunning old fox. He cheated me of my money but didn't even blush. However, if I serve this mysterious old man well, I'll get a lot of benefits. If I hadn't hooked up with old Jiang, would I have achieved what I have now? Would I have become a soul warrior? Han Fei waved his hand. How can 3,000 be enough? I'll personally invest 7,000 mid-quality pearls to make up 10,000. Let's renovate the school. Silence, Old Bai was stunned. The bearded man was stunned. Lu Renquang and Zhang Xuanyu were also stunned. Old Bai quickly nodded and said, very good, very good. It's decided. Let's find someone to renovate the school starting from tomorrow. In his heart, Old Bai thought to himself, is this kid stupid? He's definitely a local tycoon. Lu Renquang hugged Han Fei. Brother, do you still need parts? Zhang Xuanyu patted Han Fei on the shoulder. I can be very sure that you will definitely become my good brother. Brother, how about going out for dinner tonight? Xia Shaochan asked, little brother, do you want to make a deal with money? Han Fei. Han Fei was stunned. Is this really a good idea? You just wanted to hack me to death and now you call me little brother. Han Fei took a deep breath. What kind of deal? Han Fei, this straightforward man, actually asked this question. Xia Shaochan replied, if I have something to do, you pay. If you have something to do, don't come to me. You can't hold my hand, we can't date. Han Fei, read too. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.